Here we go.
Everybody gather around. Let me tell y'all about the wildest thing ever. It's called basketball. Not one league, not one year, not one small hall. It's over 2,000 teams plus. But in the end, only one can stand tall. From dead ball dust to the long ball flight. From black and white box scores to the stadium lights. From Root to Robinson, from Gibson to Gwen. Every age steps up and the bash rolls in. You got pinnacle, quarters, legends, long shots. Teams that came in blazing, teams that got hot. Old time flannels, pullovers, polyester class. Whoa! We're talking basketball, where the greats all meet and the underdogs brawl. Bashball! Yes, bashball. One sim to rule them all. That's bashball. That's bashball. You got Earl Wilson kneeling, Hack Wilson mashing. Cop talking loud and the bass runners dashing. Mandolin in the shadows, maze in the sun. That's some club from 1919, still getting it done. You got heartbreak, upset, stick and punch pride. A favorite gets flipped and the whole room goes wild. A sweet out of nowhere, a game 3 scare. And a team nobody picked is suddenly there. The final 32, that's a beautiful sight. 32 survive and still ready to fight. After all those rounds and all those names, still move for one more team to etch its fame. Basketball! We're talking basketball, where the old park's live and the legends still call. Basketball! Yes, basketball. Every era steps alive in basketball.
Oh, all right, supposed to be a fade out. All right, that was a great song. Welcome everyone. Let me just change this back to the. Here we are. Welcome in everyone. We got Jamie Marshall. I'm Mike Silver, and we have a special guest, Marshall Garvey, which we will introduce formally. But I just wanted to say this is the Big Beautiful Baseball Bash live show. I think this is episode 6 now. Still working on round 1 games in the final 32 bracket of the whole tournament. And that's so we're looking forward to playing some more games, picking up where we left off last night. I just wanted to show I have it on the wrong screen. And so this is the bracket that we have. I think Jamie had posted something better looking, but this is it. And so far in the bracket of 32, we've only have one elimination so far, and that was last night. The 1929 Chicago Cubs were upset by the 1926 Washington Senators and swept 2-0. So they move on to the second round, and tonight we're going to be seeing possibly some more teams upset with the second game of the series. Could be some sweeps, and then we could be seeing more potential game 3s coming on. So Jamie, thanks for coming, and Marshall, thank you. Jamie, I'll let you introduce Marshall more professionally than myself. So go ahead.
No, that's fine. I don't know how I can do it more professional, but that's fine. No, I mean, I appreciate Marshall coming on. I thought maybe Marshall can just introduce himself as far as his background, with writing, with the his Saber work, all that stuff, and just kind of introduce yourself to everybody.
Oh, of course. My name is Marshall Garvey. I'm an author, writer, and historian for over 2 decades across multiple fields, with baseball, of course, being a very prominent one. I have 3 published books. My most recent one is my book about the 1985 World Series, Interstate 85, the Royals, the Cardinals, and the Show Me World Series. Interviewed everyone from George Brett to Jeff Lottie for it. As you can tell, I love baseball history, and I've really enjoyed getting a taste of the simulation world, thanks to Jamie here.
Yeah, Marshall, I read his book. I really enjoyed the book on the 1985 World Series, especially just, there's a lot of books that are written on, seasons or World Series, but this one was a little unique to me just because it kind of, I guess because he did talk to so many players, but the way he organized it, you felt like you were seeing the whole thing through these players' eyes, and whether it's on the field or after the game, or or it's Don Deckenter's daughter driving back and forth between the 2 stadiums. It's just if you can picture a documentary but in book form, you felt like there was a camera following behind all these different players and people. So it was, I just thought it was really I mean, it was an interesting story, but also written really uniquely.
Thank you.
So I had seen you on Facebook, so I just, complimented your book, and then next thing we started talking, and I kind of wondered if you had ever played any of these kind of games before, because like we were talking before we came on, most people that are in this hobby generally are, well into their middle ages, and you're not even quite 40 yet. But so you had never played any of these games before we started talking.
Right. Yeah. And it was kind of surprising. And again, as we said, like I'm huge on video games, but never really played a whole lot of baseball games except for like the one I had growing up. So getting a taste of the simulation field this way, I feel like it's been perfect timing, and I'm excited to see what unfolds tonight.
Yep. And this was the first game I showed you. I actually picked this one, not because there's several baseball games I like, but I thought this was the best as far as kind of making that stepping stone in, because it is more visual than a lot of the other games. So, with Out of the Park, and that was the first game you played. But Marshall got a chance. We played Out of the Park baseball. We played Action PC baseball, and we played the Payoff Pitch PC version called, by Game Pulse, which was the last game we played. So he's had a sample of multiple different of the online, baseball games. So, and you've taken to them pretty well, actually. You have enjoyed them.
Yeah, no, I really have. And as I was saying, even before we started recording the mic, just they just work on so many levels. It gets my historian's mind going. It works on like nostalgia, which every baseball fan loves, and also challenges me to be like a manager. We talked about that, when you interviewed me for the article or your Substack. Like, it's easy for a fan to judge the manager, even a historian to judge managers, but like having to be in that position myself was a real trip.
Yeah.
So
when you were playing, what do you think was more surprising to you? Was it, I mean, obviously, both could be right, but, the pull of the nostalgia, like you were, saying, like how, I remember these guys, or that feeling of being the manager, that suspense, that only sports really can get, because I think both of those things can be big factors when we play these games, because, you're not just going back in time and playing. Like, I can go back and watch the 1985 World Series, but it's going to happen the way it's always going to happen. But when you play it, you get to go back, and you still have that same suspense, because that hit may not fall right in front of Andy Van Slyke. Maybe he gets it and catches it, or whatever. Anything could be different. So did that kind of hit you too when you were playing them, or?
Oh yeah. Well, I just had to get a feeling for all the strategy that goes into every moment. And like you said, you can plan it all on paper, make seemingly the right move, but the execution and luck still have to come together and go your way. So.
And the interview with Marshall, it's on my Sports Game Journal Substack if people want to read a little more detail. But even though it wasn't it ended up becoming the closest series, there was a lot of, he got faced with a lot of tough managerial decisions throughout. So he definitely put his feet into the fire pretty quick.
Indeed.
Well, so Marshall, how well are you ready to have your knowledge tested tonight?
I sure am.
I mean, how well do you know the
baseball
72
history.
Royals? How well do you know the 72 Royals? Do you know them very well?
No, sorry. Which teams again?
1972 Kansas City Royals.
I have really been proud of how much Royal and Cardinal history I've stuffed into my brain over the past 5 years. 72 Royals, I have to admit, a little bit gray. I can tell you that
I don't blame you.
The year, well, because like that's just before they get a couple years before they're in the playoffs, or a few years. That's the year after they drafted George Brett out of El Segundo High School. I know that. So 72,
the year before he played, right? It's the year before he came in, I think.
Yeah,
on the team, right?
Yep, August of 73. So 72, I think they're still finding their legs, But
you're going to see them tonight. So I just wanted,
surprisingly, we had 2,676 teams enter, and these are the final 32, and the 72 Royals have found their way into the final 32.
Yep.
Wow. I mean, that's Of all Royals teams, you think it'd be like the
Yeah.
77 team?
I know.
Or honestly, like the 2015 team. No disrespect to my 85 guys, but like, no, the 1972 Royals, that's who's standing. All right.
Yeah. Well, there's always, the short series factor. But one thing I learned about the 72 Royals, because anytime we have a team like that goes through, you kind of like, oh, how did they actually were a really good offensive team. Like if you look at their numbers, they don't, but compared to other teams in 1972, because those early 70s were such a low, especially in the American League, were low offense. So when you compare their numbers to other teams, they actually were a pretty good offensive team. But in this game, it tries to they want to play everybody on an even level. So we have everybody's set to play somewhat at like a 1980. So that way the dead ball teams, they can't, they can still hit home runs, and the team, because we picked 1980 because that was kind of a balance where teams had speed, they had power, so
Yeah, I'll show
a
you
good
the,
hitting team in
I'll
any decade gets to be a good hitting team when we play these games. So
So
that
here's
might have
the-
been a factor.
Yeah, this is the matchup. This is the matchup that's coming up. In a game. So we got, these are the guys: John Maybury, Paul Schall was the MVP of that team's bracket. Freddie Patek, Lou Piniella, Amos Otis, and Richie. One of my favorite names in the bash is Richie Scheinblum. I love that
and
name.
Cookie Rojas. Oh yeah, no, that's. Oh man, you've already got a pretty good. You've already got a big chunk of like the veteran core for their golden age. So yeah, I'm not surprised that they could hit the ball well.
And these are the starters for the game. Well, Roger Nelson pitched the first game. They kind of got smacked around by the 27 Yankees, like you would expect. And Dick Drago's going tonight with
Paul Shaw. Kind of became like a little bit of a legend for us.
Yes.
I mean, neither of us really. I might have seen his name just doing Sims before. Obviously, I didn't know anything about him, but he, of course, was the last third baseman before George Brett. And I looked more into him. It turned out he was a really good fielding third baseman. That was probably his strongest strength as a player, was his fielding. But he also was a little ahead of his time as far as getting on base. He was a really good, high on base percentage guy. And that definitely paid off for them a lot because he kept a lot of innings going by either getting a hit or a walk, and ended up being the MVP. But after George Brett came up, that was the end of Paul Shaw, obviously. But the funny story was that after baseball, he went into ended up becoming a chiropractor, and he was still in the Kansas City area, and he ended up being George Brett's chiropractor. So that's kind of a funny twist of fate or whatever.
That sure is.
Yeah. So, that's. I mean, it's funny. I obviously, as I mentioned earlier, this is the 85, 86 seasons are basically my wheelhouse. It's my when I was probably the most obsessed with baseball as a kid, and so when I do my replays, that's generally the years I stick around with. And same with Jamie, I think. My first replay that I picked doing cards and dice, which was only a few years ago, I found cards and dice, believe it or not. My first replay was I did the whole 86 season, even though I'm a Red Sox fan, and that was a painful season. And, at the end, it was still a good team. Not that I didn't do just the Red Sox. I did every game of every team, and I actually completed that. And the Mets still won the whole thing, and except they beat the Blue Jays in the finals, not the Red Sox. But Jamie's doing now. I'm doing 87, which is to me the logical next step. But to hey, let me just go.
Yeah, I'm doing 85, which actually
he's doing 85.
That made your book catch my eye because I had read another book about the Yankees and Mets from 1985, and I'm like, is there another book out there? And I think your book hadn't come out yet, but I was like, I pre-ordered it, and that's how I ended up finding it.
I'm excited. I can't wait because I know I'm going to know all the players, so I'm excited about reading the book.
But for Marshall, really, his wheelhouse I would assume mid 90s probably, when you first started really getting into baseball. And you were probably were you still in high school in 2002, or just out of high school when we did that one replay of the 2002 World Series?
I would be in middle school, just about close to starting high school at that
Oh,
time.
okay, so that was closer. Yeah.
Well, yeah, but I got into baseball in 2000. So the 2002 World Series, that's a vivid memory. The 2000s was a great decade to grow up.
I agree.
So what, you want
for a Red Sox fan too.
Yeah.
Tell people how you ended up writing a book about the 1985. Not that obviously people write about things of the past all the time. But I think you kind of even have a little even more affinity, I guess, towards that time frame too than just just randomly.
Well, the 80s, even though it's really before my time being born in November of 89, I've always really liked the 80s, especially for the great playoffs there were, a lot of great series, and there's a lot of good turnover year to year with championship winners. But 85, I think what teed it up for me to get to writing a book about it was it always just stuck in my head in a really weird way because everyone just obsesses over the Don Dankinger call. And especially because the Royals were such garbage when I was growing up in the 2000s, 85 seemed like this kind of like mystical, like, wow, there was a time when the Royals were great. It's like it was their only title for a while. So it just kind of had this odd place in my mind. And then
that's when we were talking before about how Mike and I both were like, well, we kind of really remember that World Series, but kind of part of your writing about because it was almost like a forgotten World Series, which always, I mean, I think that is probably true, obviously, but to me, it's just because of my age at the time, it's one I remember really well. I can still remember watching it down in the basement because my dad was a baseball fan, but I don't want to watch that World Series or whatever. Maybe my mom wanted to watch a show that, but I can remember one of the things that sticks out the most to me is just the way the lights were at Royal Stadium because it always seemed so dark behind it, and it just felt like like a spotlight, and I don't know why that always stood out to me. That's from the 1985 World Series.
Oh, that's such a cool memory. Well, I've been to Kauffman Stadium as it's now called today, and that's basically part of what I love about it. It's like because Interstate 70's right by, and it's just all dark. I just love how the stadium it's like this big beam of light in the middle of that's a great way of describing
it looks like Field of Dreams there at the end of the movie when they show the light. It's the only light in the whole area because it's it's kind of the same thing. But my favorite, that picture of Ozzie Smith there on your book. Obviously that's the one we hit the home run, right?
Go crazy.
Go
crazy, folks. Go crazy.
I couldn't believe he hit a home run. I'm like, oh my God, like I can't believe he hit a home run.
Teammates. One of my favorite interview quotes, I asked Andy Van Slyke what his reaction was to that home run, and Andy just said to me, disbelief. Last person you'd pick to win a game with a homer was Ozzie Smith. And Andy said this. He said, I would have picked a tubby 40-year-old Usher to hit a home run before Ozzie. And I burst out laughing for 10 seconds during the interviews.
Maybe Rick Camp. Rick Camp would be the only other guy that could be. I don't know if you remember that one.
In your book, you have a lot of stuff like that too. The things that the players were saying to each other while the things are going on, comment on plays. It's really.
I'm excited. Yeah, I can't wait. I'm gonna read this thing. I can't wait. So I'm gonna pick this up probably tonight or tomorrow, definitely.
The process of writing the book, because you did have to interview so many players, and I know at one point too, you said it got almost like a huge obstacle, you were gonna maybe not even be able to finish it all at one point or whatever. It's not something you don't think about, when people write a book, just how engrossed it can get, to try to get it done, right?
Right. I'm glad you brought that up. Yeah, I've talked a lot. Oh man, if you couldn't make a movie about the story of me writing this book, you could at least make a book of its own about it. Yeah, I put it on hold for a year. It hit a lot of it seemed to hit a really big brick wall. I nearly gave up on it, but I actually ended up salvaging it and getting it published. And that's part of why I'm so proud of how it turned out. It turned out way better than expected, and I think it benefited from the adversity. It's quite a tale. It's more than I could share here, but it's I'm proud I overcame that roadblock.
Yeah, I'm impressed. I have to say, when did this book come out?
Last year.
Last year, okay.
It was released on opening day for the 40th anniversary, and we timed it great. I even got to go to the 85 Royals anniversary a few months later and meet the guys. And
that's great. That's really cool. That's so cool. Well, kudos to you, man. Kudos to you. I mean, to write a book and especially on something that you're not, you don't personally have the experience of being there. That's amazing. I think I'm looking for. I'm just saying it's amazing even before I read it, but I just know if Jamie likes it, I'm gonna like it. So
yeah, no, I mean, you would have thought he was there. Not only would you think he was there, but you'd think he was in on their conversations while they're playing the game. It's not just guys just telling fish stories. It's somehow you do feel like you're right back in 1985, and
That's
I
what
mean,
I like to see. I like maybe it's just my age but now what I'm mostly interested in is like when I'm watching a game and I see like the umpires talking to the players or the players talking to them, I'm always like, what are they saying? I want to know what they're saying. I want to know what they talk about, like when they're in these situations, and if you're talking, if you're interviewing players and they're telling you what they say or what they said to this person, I think that stuff's great. That's the stuff that you want to know about. You know what I mean? That's how I feel anyway. But so I'm excited about reading this book now. I'm really excited.
and then being obviously into these games, reading the book, it's hard to I forget now which player was the one who hit the ball that Andy Van Slyke couldn't get to. It was like if he could have hit it a little harder, Van Slyke would have caught it, or if it was
Dane Orge
hung up a little bit.
Dane Orge.
Yeah. And I was thinking, like, well, how many times have in a game, it's like, oh, like if you had rolled just a little higher, it would have been an out or a hit or whatever. It's like, the fate, in real life, and like how it, happens in the games the same way.
Oh yeah, no, that's one of my favorite. I always love that you emphasize that line. The way Vance because Orge was pretty descriptive too about the way
he kind of made it like how lucky. I think didn't he say like I've always been lucky?
I've always been lucky. He was laughing. He was like, my whole life I've just been lucky. Babe Ruth, college, just luck. Yeah, but the way Andy described that, like if it's a few more inches up the barrel, and Andy wasn't doing it like a sour grapes way. He was just describing the immediacy.
A
few more inches. If Porter backs up the plate,
that's stuff. Funny. That's really cool.
And
now was Buddy Biancalana on the Royals that year?
Oh, of course he was. He was
did
my
you
first
interview. That's awesome because it's one of my favorite names from when I was a kid.
I think that's like I didn't even know who Buddy Biancalana was until watching the postseason or whatever.
Oh yeah, no, I mean he was just like the guy some people knew who he was because David Letterman picked on him in August, and then he ends up being this inexplicable postseason hero. Yeah, Buddy's great. He lives not too far from me in Northern California. He was my first interview, first player I met at the reunion, and he said the same thing you were saying. He was like, wow, Marshall, it's like you were a fly on the wall with the Royals and Cardinals. He was like, how did you do that? And I said to Buddy, like, I don't think I want to know how I did that at this point. But like, yeah, Buddy Biancalana, his last name translates to white wool in Italian. One of the great funny surnames. You just
white wool.
White wool, yeah.
That's funny. That's hilarious. Buddy, that's a great name. That and Kurt Bavakwa were like my favorite names in the 80s. Yeah.
That's a good one.
I think another thing people that to connect it to these games and the book that they could take and I've mentioned it before, but I think anybody that plays sports, this kind of instinctively, but you kind of forget it too at the same time. But how much the mental part plays into when things go bad, how much that can impact you, going into the next game or like the bad call. Like you can see like when you're reading, the change of the way the Cardinals were at it's almost like you could feel the momentum going against them, and it was nothing to do with on the field, but it was almost like they were getting themselves out just because they were so the pressure, and
yeah.
Absolutely.
Well, that's the other thing. It brings it going back to that. You said you talked with Kurt Kepshire, right, about the minor leagues, right? So my another thing I always wondered, and I just assume this, but it's got to be a lot. If you're like a player that's not languishing in the minors, but just say you make it to the majors, the pressure to be able to stay in the majors has to be immense, right? Mm-hmm. I mean, every at bat, if you're not like one of the big ticket, superstars, right? Obviously, but if you're like on the bench player and you're really trying to get in the lineup, the pressure every at bat you have has to be immense because you're always in danger of going back down to the minors. And I'm sure once you make it to the show, you want to stay there, right? It's probably the difference in life is probably like ridiculous, right? So that's one thing I always want. I never really heard anybody talk about like that, the actual pressure that they feel like on a day-to-day basis being in the majors.
Definitely 100%.
You know what I mean?
Oh,
so
yeah.
that's. Yeah.
So sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead. No, that's it. So I was just gonna say, I'll let you talk.
Oh yeah, no, it's something we don't think about a lot. I meditated on it often, but I'm a fan. Like I'll never be a professional athlete. I'll never know what it takes to get to that level and to stay there. My buddy Zach Ford wrote a great book called "Called Up" about stories of players making it to the major leagues. And that gives like an idea of like just what goes into getting there. Yeah. And like you described the pressure I can't imagine like all that effort to get there, but to sustain success, that's something else.
like imagine like you're in the, just say you're in the minors for 3 or 4 years, when you're riding the buses or whatever it is that they do, and then you finally get to the majors, and then like there's guys that probably they weren't able to just touch the ball at the plate. You know what I mean? They're just like
Yeah.
and they, just the feeling that must go through their heads.
Well, so many guys too,
They're
and I
like,
think that when you did talk to Kirkshire, and I've heard other guys talk about it or read, the guys get called up. It's like, well, why they didn't. Some guys are just killing it and they don't get called up, and other guys do. And
Right.
like, there's just so much, I won't say random, but it's human nature. So it's not a perfect science, and personalities have to click and all that kind of stuff. It's not just the stats or whatever.
Absolutely. Yeah. Or even just luck, like you could be playing great, but maybe your specific role isn't needed by the major league team at that moment. It's
Or the manager, he has a vision of what he thinks is the best second baseman, and you're not that. You could be that on another team, but on this team, you're not.
right.
And the other guy, it could just be saying, that's true with any sport. I've
Yep.
you've seen it a lot, even with like, my daughter playing soccer. I mean, she's not a professional, but at the college level, but it's still similar dynamic.
Absolutely. Yeah. It's fickle. You just never know what factors are going into those decisions at any given moment. It's true.
Great. Well, is there anything? Do you want to play some baseball, or you want to? Is there anything else, Marshall, that you'd like to get out, or is there anything, you have anything coming up? Any new projects or books or anything you're planning? Or?
Well, it's funny. I actually think I came up with a pretty good idea for my 4th book, but that won't be for a while. I'm kind of on an author hiatus. This Interstate 85 is actually my 3rd book, and I wrote them all in rapid succession. I would say just one more thing to anyone watching. I really appreciate you buy it, because I'm moving hardcovers to get the paperback. And if you liked it, leave a good review on Amazon and Goodreads. So that's just
there's so many people that love baseball from the 80s. It's a no-brainer to buy.
Oh yeah, it hits the sweet spot of nostalgia. But
I think I think that's the right. I think these guys like my age, and maybe even older, we're becoming more of the prominent baseball sim users, and the 80s are kind of starting to come into focus as one of the main decades. And so I think this could be a very good. Hopefully, I don't have a huge audience, I'm going to be honest with you, but I've definitely tried to pimp this out to like the OTP folks, and these are guys that would definitely be interested in this book. And so
Mike's kind of a big deal in the park community.
Well, no, I'm not big deal. I created all the 3D parks. I don't know if you know about those.
All those parks that when we were playing that, that was one of the things I remember you stood out, that you kind of liked the way the parks were laid out. That's one of his claims to fame. That and getting the historical uniforms right, which you'll see tonight, because we'll be going from one era to the other. Yeah.
So I mean that's kind of my thing, and so I kind of posted some stuff out there and got some things on Facebook. My guess is we might get more views after the fact, not live.
Yeah.
I hope if we can throw a few extra sales your way, I think that I'd be very happy. So that'd be good.
Of course. Yeah.
All right. So great. Thanks, Marshall, and if so we're just gonna go. The format of this show is really no format. we really just play the game. I share the screen. We're
the Seinfeld of
and we just talk baseball. We just talk about the players, or just Jamie and I will just mention how they've played up until now, if we remember them, because we've played so many 5,500 games. And it's hard to remember all the ones, and we've been playing this for over a year now. So anyway, the first game on tap here is the 42 Red Sox at the 1966 Giants. So we have Ted Williams in the house, and Willie Mays as well, right? So so this will be a fun matchup, and and then we have some other games, and the Royals are kind of further down, but since you're here, we can just play that out of order. It's not a problem. There is no order. But so feel free to throw any your 2 cents into any of these while we're playing the game. I'm mostly just clicking the button and just letting playing the game, and we'll just kind of announce. It's not like an official broadcast of a game. So you'll see. It's very very
unlikely you probably ever pictured the 1972 Royals playing the 27 Yankees.
Yeah, I would not have expected that, but Again, the 72 Royals had more pop than I realized. So let's see. Anything can happen in a short series, man.
They got up the first game. They got off to an early lead, but then the Yankees, that 27 Yankees momentum just.
Oh man, yeah,
They scored a fair amount of runs, but they just couldn't keep up with them. They just started hitting home run after home run. So let's see if they have a little better luck this time.
So what I do before, at least before the second round of games, I put together just the road to the final 32, the teams that each team has beaten to get to where they are, right? So I just a list and just kind of go through them. So there's 6 rounds to win a bracket, and so the 42 Red Sox had to start off and they beat the 99 Rockies, then they beat the 71 Cubs, the 58 Braves, 88 Royals they beat. So there you go, the 1970 Dodgers and the 89 Rangers. So that was the 42 Red Sox's road to the final 32. And the San Francisco Giants beat the 2013 Angels of Anaheim, longest name ever. The 1919 Tigers, the 1915 Red Sox, the 2023 Blue Jays, 1952 Phillies, and the 1910 Reds to get there. So that's everything's a best of 3 series, by the way. So in case you didn't know, I'm not sure how familiar you are if you caught any of the broadcasts we've done, and it's okay if you haven't, not a big deal. Okay, but we're gonna jump into this game here. Sorry, I just have to maximize it. So here we are at Candlestick Park from the 60s.
Ooh.
And as Jamie mentioned, I'm pretty much responsible for creating all the historical ballparks in OTP using SketchUp. I taught myself once they decided to use 3D in their game. I was like, hey, maybe I'm going to teach myself how to use SketchUp and do some 3D modeling. And it turned out to be an obsession for about 5 years.
This is closer to Marshall's part of he's in the Sacramento, but Northern California. But not a Giants fan. You grew up a Dodgers fan, correct?
Yeah, from a Dodgers family, but I've driven by where Candlestick Park at least used to be a few times.
Yeah.
What we got?
Okay. That's okay. That was that was Dom DiMaggio. That was Joe's brother. Let off. Now we have Johnny Pesky, as we always mention, has a pole.
Gaylord Perry on the mound for the Giants.
Yeah, Gaylord Perry. Yep.
And I'm seeing out and right. I see downtown Ollie Brown. Good name drop.
Yeah, downtown. Yeah. I didn't know that was his nickname. That makes sense though.
Oh, it's a great nickname. It just rolls.
Yeah. We got Len Gabrielson, Willie Mays, Ollie Brown, Jim Ray Hart, Tito Fuentes, Hal Lanier, Willie McCovey, Gaylord Perry, and Tom Haller. And
I'll take I did not know this. How cool. Hal Lanier. He was on the coaching staff of the 1985 Cardinals.
Oh, was he?
Yeah.
I know he was the manager of the Astros at one point.
I think in 86.
Yep. Oh, so he rode that winning to a managerial job for the Astros the next season.
Yep.
I guess.
There
you go.
Yep. The announcers even mentioned it during the 85 series. Yeah, I looked like he'd already landed the job. Then he got manager of the year in 86. So.
Oh, he did? Oh, yeah, the Astros. That's right. Yeah,
that makes sense. Yeah.
All right, we got 2 outs. Lou Finney, bases loaded.
That sucks. Trying not to stray him. Big strikeout.
So I got some sounds I added to the game, like just it's not, they don't always match up well. Like the strikeouts, they might say he struck out swinging when he actually just was caught looking. But I do it just to kind of break up the. Like I said, we played 5,000 plus games. Just wanted to get some different sounds in here in the game when we're watching it. So it's Jim Ray Hart, and I didn't even catch who's
well hit.
That's down in the corner. And it's a leadoff double for Jim Ray. Oh, Charlie Wagner's the pitcher here. I'm not too familiar with him, but he's good enough to be the second game starter. All right, and there's a ground ball. All right, there's Willie Mays. Say hey, kid. That's deep, and that's far, and that's over the fence. See you later. Willie Mays.
Marshall might be getting flashbacks to Barry Bonds in the series replay.
Yeah, his godson torched me in the 02 World Series replay.
All right. Well, that's a 2-0 lead right off the bat for the Giants. So that's a big home run for Willie Mays. Let's see if the Red Sox can respond. And we go to the end of that's the end of the first. We go to the second. Tony Lupien facing Gaylord Perry. It's grounded thirds. And we got some. Okay, good.
What was the 1942 Red Sox record? I know they had some good teams from 1946 through 49, but
Yeah, I think they. I was just thinking that
strike three.
I would probably, without looking, say they probably were a second place team, but like at that time, anybody was second.
Let's
by
see
a
if it
long
says
ways for the
downtown.
Yankees.
Yeah, it does say downtown for his nickname. There you go. Downtown Ollie Brown.
Mhm.
There you go.
Yep.
If it's in the game, it's in the game.
Yeah. Real deal.
All right. And here we go. Len Gabrielson. Like I said, I don't think I ever heard of this guy until the bash.
Yeah, the 42 Red Sox were 93 and 59 and finished in second place.
Shoot, that's just how cutthroat not just pre wild card, just even pre LCS.
Oh yeah.
And this 66 Giants team was a 90+ win team, but also finished second to the Dodgers that year.
Right. Now that was kind of the thing with the Giants. They did have a lot of really good teams outside of the 62 pennant winner, but just also ran to the Dodgers or Cardinals.
Yep. Johnny Pesky with a base hit. And here's Bobby Dorr.
Oh, Hall of Famer.
Mm-hmm. And that's a shot to the gap. That's going to get down into the wall, the fence. And that's going to be a double. It's either going to send. No, they don't send them home. So it's second and third. A little conservative there.
Yeah, they've had a lot of base.
And here's you do have Ted Williams coming up. So Ted Williams is 0 for 4 in the playoffs. In the two first games.
Let's see if they're going to pitch to him.
That's true. They do. And he gets it through left side, base hit, and it's going to tie the game.
Wow.
All right, so we got the big bats are coming through so far. We got Willie Mays in first and Ted Williams in the third. Now we got a tie game again. Oh, there's another bloop single into center field. So we got something going here. Not we, but the Red Sox do. My homerism is showing up.
Of course, no problem.
That drops in front of the left fielder, and that's going to score another run. And another one, two runs.
Wow. Yeah, the Red Sox didn't get a team into the finals till somewhat late, close to into the last third of the. So when this team was on the verge of winning, it was hard for Mike not to become a fan.
Yeah. Oh, here we go. Another one down in the corner. This is going to be at least two. It looks like he's bobbling around down. He's going for. Oh no, he's going back to second. Another 2-run double. 6 runs in the third inning. And by the way, if you didn't know, the Giants won game 1, so this is the Red Sox trying to stave off elimination. So,
got it. Well, so far so good. Now they're just keeping the line moving.
Domed them out. Yeah, this is a big inning for the Red Sox, though. Wow.
But don't get complacent, man. I thought I had some big innings. Wow, turned against me.
Yep. Oh yeah, we've seen some crazy stuff in this so far in the bash.
Red Sox are often not the best.
There's a shot. Look at this down the line again. Another into the corner. Another run's going to score for the Giants. And second and third. Nobody out yet. And here's Willie Mays again.
Both teams benefiting from how deep the corners were at Old Cavernous Park.
And it bobbles it. Oh man,
that could be.
The only consolation is the Hart couldn't score from third on that, but no outs now still.
They got McCovey though.
And as McCovey drops one into right. Oh my God, this is going to be a football game score. 6-5. These starting pitches are not long for this game, I don't think.
Yeah,
there's a base hit. There's one over the first. That's a double play. They needed that. Mm-hmm. So 2 outs now, running third, and here's downtown Ollie Brown. Ooh, shot grounded to third. He's got it though. Rose to first. All right, so you get some damage done. It's 6-5 after 3. Jeez, not a pitching duel here. And there's a walk. This guy Gaylord's not been too sharp either. So you got him looking there. All right, Teddy ball game. And he pops them up. That's okay. 2 out. Base hit up the middle. Throw third. Oh, that's off. Okay, safe at third. Lou Finney. And that's sharply hit, but it's going to do it for the top of the fourth. And okay, now we got Gabrielson, Lanier, and Perry due up. Yeah. So Marshall, are the Royals your favorite team or the Cardinals? I assume the Royals because of George Brett. And you said you've been at Kaufman, right? So
I've been to Kaufman. Yeah, that's funny. I'm not even. I was thinking about this earlier. I don't think I call myself a straight up fan of either the Royals or Cardinals, but they've both grown on me so much, and I really what they've done for me. I appreciate it so much. I do prefer the Royals.
Okay.
I think the Cardinals, great franchise, but with the Royals, there's kind of the underdog factor, and again, Kaufman is just a gem of a stadium. If have you ever been?
Actually, I've driven by there one time on the interstate. I was driving home from Colorado to Massachusetts, and that was just on the way home. I think I was at I would have liked to have gone to a game, but I ended up, I was at Coors Field instead when I was in Colorado. So
with your family being Dodger fans, you probably had a little bit of a built-in bias against the Cardinals anyway.
Well, Jack Clark. Well, it's funny. Jack Clark traumatized my dad with that home run in '85, and then I had my equivalent with Matt Carpenter and Matt Adams rocking Clayton Kershaw in 2014. Yeah, Cardinals and Dodgers. There's definitely a playoff history, but I did kind of soften up as a result of the book on the Cards. It's like, especially the '85 team.
Well, yeah, and plus once you had talked to these guys in person and got to know a lot of them, it changes the perspective, I'm sure.
Oh, for sure. Not to mention just like any frustrations I had with the Dodgers or like certain heartbreaks, man, the 2024 championship and the Freddie Freeman Grand Slam just like cured my soul. That was couldn't ask for better than that.
Yeah.
Well, if you're following the Dodgers, now's not a bad time.
Not at all. Yeah. You kind of have it all.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's kind of like how the Red Sox and Yankees were in the early 2000s. They were always just one-upping each other with the payroll and the getting the best player. And now I feel like the Dodgers are just own it. And you're in California now? Is that where you are?
Yeah, I've lived here my whole life. I'm in Sacramento, specifically
Sacramento. That's right.
the Citrus Heights area. So living
really
through
nice
the
play by
surreal,
Willie Mason.
our surreal, unexpected major league era.
Yes. I was going to ask you, have you gone to any of those games in Sacramento?
Oh, yeah. I went the home opener last season, the first non-exhibition MLB game in Sacramento history. I was in attendance.
Oh, that's great.
I wrote about it at my Substack, Martial Arts. Like,
okay.
It's surreal because I grew up going to Oakland A's games. I hate what John Fisher did. I think it's gross, but like Sacramento, man, like I said, I wrote my first book is about the history of baseball in Sacramento. Like, we're a great city for baseball, and like having Major League Baseball here, as weird as the circumstances have been, pretty awesome.
That's amazing. Yeah, that's really cool. Yeah, that's a kind of a stroke of luck that they ended up moving the A's over there temporarily.
Yeah. Wow.
What's the field? What's the name of the field there?
Sutter Health Park.
Sutter Home. That's a wine, isn't it? I think Sutter Home is a wine.
I think it is. Yeah.
Sutter Health. Okay. Yeah. That's cool. Yeah. That's great. Was it always that name, or did it have a different name?
It used to be called Rayleigh Field, and I think I think they renamed it Sutter Health around like 2020 or 21. But yeah, for the longest time it was Rayleigh Field.
I actually created a 3D model of Rayleigh Field for this game, so that's funny.
Oh, dude.
Yeah. It's not that great. It was really early on when I was kind of messing around, and I took like a Google Earth, top-down view, and I was kind of just using that to try to figure out the dimensions and everything. So. But yeah, I do have that. I remember they had that big scoreboard, if I'm not correct.
That might be, yeah, that's out of here.
Oh, that's gone. Wow, that's a long run. Johnny Pesky, wow, 373 feet.
Yeah.
Let's see that replay.
Yeah, that's definitely, that was, especially at a deep park like this.
Yep.
Yeah, that thing's gone.
It was just a little bit
that's
left of his pole.
Look at that. Yeah. That's not his pole. But
no, I'm just saying.
Or what would have been. I was going to say the same thing. What would be near his pole if we were. Which
what was the park in Sacramento that had the real, like in the 70s? I think it had a real short left field.
Hughes Stadium. That's where the second Solons played in 1974, 75, and 76.
Solons.
Oh, yeah. Hughes Stadium, it had that truncated left field, kind of like when the Dodgers played at the Coliseum.
Really? Okay.
I wrote about that. I've become really good friends with 1985 Royals backup Greg Pryor, and he's been telling me a lot about that stadium. And I know a sports writer friend in Sacramento who's working on a book about the 74 Solons. So yeah, that left field. Hey, if you were a Solons pitcher and you had an ERA of like 5.27, you were the ace.
Yeah, I learned about that stadium when they used to have ESPN Classic, and they would show old clips of Woody's World, and he did a piece from out there from sometime in the 70s, obviously when it was going on. But
that's cool.
You could probably find it on YouTube. It's pretty good. It's about maybe 8 or 9 minutes, and they're interviewing the players playing there, what it's like to play there.
Oh yeah, I'll definitely look for it. Awesome. It's a good game we got going here. It's like
it's a little crazy.
Yeah, no matter how many runs one team scores, the other one still is just hovering behind it.
My wife is calling me from Washington, D.C. Oh, boy. Might have to take a break in a minute to call her back. But no, it's fine. You guys can talk and chat for a few minutes. I'll just finish this game and then I'll call her back. And then I'll only give me 5 minutes. My daughter and wife went down. My wife's an 8th grade teacher, so they had their the 8th grade field trip to Washington, D.C. that they do every year. And so she decided to chaperone this year and bring my 9-year-old daughter with her. So,
sweet.
So basically, I have the house to myself until Friday night. But so basically, she's probably calling me just so my daughter can say goodnight. She'll probably be asleep in that probably 10 minutes anyway. But they're down there. They took a bus down there yesterday, and it's about an 8-hour drive from here in Boston. I'm right outside of Boston, so So we'll just 10-6 here. Dom DiMaggio up at the plate. It's a surprisingly close game. Actually, it's a high-scoring close game.
All right, Sox to 17 hits, but
hopefully, let's see if the Red Sox can stave off the Giants' comeback and force a game 3.
Yeah, I somehow feel like they need another run or two to feel safe.
I know. But the Red Sox bullpen, Bill Butland. I mean, he might be pretty good.
I can't remember their bullpen actually.
It doesn't have a good ERA in this series.
Who's the other guy? Mace, I think was his name.
Mace Brown.
Mace Brown. The two of them pitch well.
Downtown Mace Brown.
You don't want to be nicknamed Downtown if you're a pitcher, then.
No, you don't.
Yeah, you really don't.
No, I remember the Red and Marshall may not remember. I don't know if you remember the Red Sox plays. I think they had a pitcher named John Wasden, and he pitched for the Rockies and the Red Sox, and they used to call him way back Wasden. So that's not a very good name.
That's an even worse nickname.
It is.
Kind of double clutched on the.
Yeah, those are the days of Rich Garces and all those. That was probably the late '90s, early 2000s.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Kind of. Just before, little would you know the curse would be broken, but that was some.
Yeah.
Even Brett Saberhagen.
He pitched for them, and Hideo Nomo pitched for the Red Sox.
Hideo Nomo, some kind of random names you associate more with others, but you're like, those guys are Red Sox.
But Hideo Nomo threw a no-hitter in somewhere early 2000s. It was before they won the World Series.
I watched that game actually. Yeah.
And at that time, everybody Red Sox fans thought that was like a World Series like that because we were so starved for something to root for that no hitter was like amazing. It is cool anyway, but it was just so cool. I remember I was at a bar watching that. It was like a Wednesday night or something.
Cool.
All right, we got one out here. Jack Hyatt pinch hitting. Struck him out. They got one out to the left in this game. Let's see what happens.
Trying to force a game 3.
Man, it looks like a weak grounder to the pitcher, and the Red Sox lived. Oh no, they don't. Not yet. There's an error. I spoke too soon there on the bad throw. And watch out for Tito Fuentes.
Named his son Clinch after the Giants clinched the 1971 NL West.
Wow, really?
Right, yeah.
Yep. Yeah. And there you go. Boston lives to see another day.
That's it. So that's that game, and we go to the box score. Ooh, 4 for 5 for Johnny Pesky, 3 ribbies.
Yeah, with the home run
Not
too.
bad, and a home run. Yeah, it's not so bad. It's a
Ted
heck of a
Williams
day for
bat
him.
woke up. He got 3 hits.
Johnny Peacock, 3 Robbie Eyes, a catcher, and Willie Mays 2 for 4. He's like one of their only. He only had 5 hits for the.
Yeah, if you're not a fan of either team, you got a good show because you get to see all the big guys do something. At least the
Yeah,
batter.
exactly. Right.
Pitcher's not so much.
Ken Chase is the winner. Okay, that's a new name.
Mm-hmm.
I like these names. Herbal. Sounds like all right. So there's one game down. If you want, we can go right to the Royals game, or we have the 2008 Cardinals as well. I don't know if that's a team that's near and dear to your heart or not. That's a pretty good team.
Well, that's always the 08 Cardinals are kind of a random. I touched on this in the latter chapters of my book, how the Cardinals were great throughout the 2000s, but 08 was just kind of a random year where they just one of the few where they weren't in the playoffs. I'm going to leave it to you. But
actually, let me give me like 5 minutes. I'm just going to step away. If you guys want to just chat for a few minutes, is that all right?
Yeah, that's fine.
You can put us back. I'll just let me just let me kill my camera.
Oh, it's fun. This is a blast. It's fun to just have the rolling, even is like we had done this before, just you and I, but like having another person, or even more like just having rolling commentary with each play. This is a lot.
Yeah, this is somewhat new. I mean, when we were, those of us that grew up playing these games, you kind of remember playing them with your friends, but as you get older, if you keep playing them, most of the time we're always playing by ourselves. But over the last years now that people are streaming them and stuff like that, that even just watching a game, you feel like you can play the game, watch the game, you still get a lot of the same excitement from these games. Like you said, the history, the nostalgia, all that stuff.
Absolutely. Well, that was an extra fun one because we were discussing, those are two like great teams that were just also rans in a more stringent playoff era. So that had a fun angle to it. I don't think about the 42 Red Sox or 66 Giants a whole lot, but that brought it to the forefront. That was fun.
Yeah, especially in that time where if you didn't finish first, you were, other than you can say we weren't in the second division, it really didn't matter.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, and even in the early goings of LCS, it was just 2 divisions and no wild card. So even that, and I get the super old baseball. I do think you have to have at least one round of playoffs before the World Series.
Oh yeah. I mean, because of the amount of teams that you really do need to have the expanded playoffs, I think so.
Right. I know. Yeah, expansion was a part.
I know it can sometimes be frustrating when the team with the lowest record ends up making it through, but that's just the nature of postseason. It's just like in this tournament, we've said this before. It's not completely about who the best team is. It's the team that was the best to make it out of their bracket or make it to the end.
Absolutely. No, I agree. It's like, if you're the best team, and when people complain about that, it's like, well, if the winningest team was going to win in the World Series, they would have found a way. Like, it's like, it's not preordained. So it's, this is fun. I was trying to take a look at some of these other matchups here. I know you messaged about these earlier.
Yeah, this is into the day 2, which is the second games of the series.
75 1908 Pirates. Oh, the Naps, Cleveland Naps. Nice.
Yeah. We got a pretty wide range of teams from different eras.
Oh, absolutely. 72 Reds and 03 A's. That's a powerhouse matchup right there.
Yeah, that's two. There's A's from that late 90s, early 2000s. They would probably be on a list of really good teams that didn't make the World Series.
Oh yeah, I think those. Yeah, it's basically the original Moneyball era.
Right.
I'd
Exactly.
say those A's teams, like the early 90s Pirates, the 90s Indians, and the Jim Leland Detroit Tigers are like the most lovable, like super talented. You just can't believe they didn't get at least one championship.
Yeah.
The 90s Indians are probably the most mind-boggling. Every time I revisit those lineups, and I'm just they didn't even have to be a dynasty. They could have just gotten one championship. How did they not do that? Oh, 2 words, I guess. Jose Mesa.
But there's a lot of teams like that in history. I mean, maybe people that are more versed in baseball history, or but to me, like the Giants from like the teens, early 20s, they play. I mean, they were a really good team, but you almost never hear them get mentioned as like great teams of the past. Because of those 20s Yankees were so good. But you forget that the Giants, at least I was easy for me to forget that they won 2 World Series or whatever, and
Right.
the first time in the decade they beat the
Yeah,
Yankees twice.
Yeah, they beat the Yankees twice. Yeah, 21 and 22.
Yeah.
That's a good point. Yeah, it's like some of those championship teams do get overlooked. That's a good point.
So yeah, and those are the kind of things that probably one of the most fun just watching this out is just because it's like baseball history in miniature, because we had all the teams from all the eras, and it's like it just puts a spotlight on different things at different times. I'm sure it's one of those things that if you're not there watching it, it may not mean anything, but from watching it, that would probably be my biggest takeaway from.
All right. Sorry about that, guys. I had to just do a little. World's worst gamers here. Yeah. There we go. Bonjour. He's a Frenchman. No.
Welcome.
Yeah. So talking here with Marshall Garvey. I don't know if you. Well, I don't know. I must have missed something, but
we were just talking about the different matchups and different teams through history. Yeah. Anybody that might have joined in, Marshall is an author. His most recent book is on the 1985 World Series. Interstate.
Bring it up right here. Interstate 85. It's a
I
really cool looking book cover too.
Yeah, the team at Missouri Press, they designed it to look like an 80s Topps card, which is what I just thought was a stroke of genius.
Oh yeah,
It actually does. It looks like the 85 Topps has that little box, that diagonal. Yep. 86 Topps was my first year, and that's actually based on the 85 season. So basically that's why I know all the plays as well. Yeah, I just remember my brother going, Brett Saberhagen, you got to keep that. You got to put that in plastic. It's going to be worth something. Yeah. Well,
Hey,
well, 1985, you would have thought that for sure. I mean, not that he having a good career, but
I talk about this so much. It's this trio of young aces in the 80s: Brett Saberhagen, Dwight Gooden, and Fernando Valenzuela. When you were watching those guys in those prime years, you had to be thinking Hall of Fame guaranteed.
For sure.
Well, yeah. Clemens too.
Clemens too, especially Clemens. Clemens could still, like with Clemens though, he still has the numbers. With Valenzuela, Gooden, and Saberhagen, they had great careers, but
not a very long careers.
Yeah, they had like 5 or 6 years of Hall of Fame career.
5 or 6, yeah, exactly. Like if Saberhagen, if he just has a few more seasons at that level, I think he's already it.
Well, yeah, Jamie and I always say about him, in one of the leagues that we were in, the sim leagues that we used to be in, it would basically you draft a guy and then you can either choose to go forward or backwards in their career for whatever year you drafted them from. So if I drafted Saberhagen in 88, I could decide to say, yeah, I'm going to take him backwards and go 86, 85, 84, or if he has better seasons going forwards in his career, he can do that. So that's just part of the dynamic of the league. And we found very quickly that Saberhagen was pretty much a 1 year on, 1 year off, 1 year on, 1 year off. Like what was it? The even numbers? The odd numbers. He was really good. The even numbers, he wasn't good.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. He was like a reverse. You think of like the Giants when they'd win the World Series in the even year, and then hung over and just blah in the odd. So opposite with Saberhagen. Odd year Saberhagen, best pitching you would ever see. Even year.
You forget how young he was too in 1985. Because Gooden, obviously he was what was he, 19 when he came up in 84, but Saberhagen in 85, pitching that deciding game, that's it's pretty crazy.
Oh, it's crazy. He's only 3 years removed from pitching his high school championship game. He's young. He's just had his first kid the day before Game 7. It's crazy. It's a crazy rise to the top. Yeah. Saves is I didn't interview Saberhagen for the book, but I'm going to send him and his wife Candace copies pretty soon. He lives in Paso Robles in California, so he's a cool guy.
Why do the guys that make tons of money always the ones that get free stuff? No, I'm just kidding. But I always wondered that. I'm like, hey, we'll give you this. Yeah. We'll give you. It's like these guys have plenty of money; they should be buying this stuff.
I
No, I know what you mean. I know why you're doing it. I just think that's funny. It's a interesting thing. Oh, what happened to Marshall?
like they're all friends.
Oh, okay.
They deserve it.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, it's just a kind of an appreciation.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Well, you know what I mean. Like they go to like a bar. Oh, here's a drink on me.
Yeah, that's
like
a little different.
some iron worker is buying like whoever, some superstar athlete walks into a bar. Oh yeah, let me buy you a drink. Like
It's like they're the ones. Yeah, I know what you mean. Yeah.
But yeah, it's just more of the gesture and hey, wow, I bought this guy a drink. I get it. So that's cool.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like I could have bought John Henry a drink, when I met him. So, but I didn't. He ended up giving. I don't know if you heard that story or not, but the Red Sox opening day this year, John Henry gave me 4 tickets, and I got to sit in his seats at Fenway Park on opening day.
Yeah, it turns out John Henry's a big fan of this game.
Yes, John Henry plays out of the park baseball, and as I mentioned about long story short. As I mentioned, I created all those ballparks, like the historical parks for this game, and he was a big admirer of these parks. He must use them, and for 3 or 4 years, he was messaging me on the Out of the Park forum, private messaging me, not under his name. I didn't know who it was. I don't want to give his name. I don't want to give the screen name out because I don't want him getting bothered on the thing. But anyway, this guy was messaging me, offering me tickets. Hey, he's like, I got some tickets to this Red Sox game, just the Red Sox game. If you're interested, he knew I was in the area. I'm like, and I kept poo-pooing him because I'm like, I don't know who this guy is. Right. So I'm like, I don't know if I'm a little cautious. And so probably 3 years in a row, he at various times he'd pop in and say, hey, you interested in going to the game? I thought he worked for the Red Sox, but I didn't know. Or maybe because I don't know how he had tickets all the time. Or maybe he just had season tickets.
I guess you could say he worked for the Red Sox, or the Red Sox worked for him.
So long story short, the week before opening day this year, I had told him last year, at the end of last year, he had offered me tickets. I was like, oh, maybe next year, right? So of course I get a message like a week before opening day. He's like, well, it's next year, opening day. I have 4 tickets for opening day, great seats if you're interested. And I was still poo-pooing him. But finally, and then he was persistent. And the day before opening day, he sent me one other message saying that they were still available. And I was sitting there thinking, how does this guy have seats that are still available for opening day? He wants to give them away. Why wouldn't he have given them to someone else who would say yes in a second? So I finally asked him. I said, how do you get these seats? Why are they still available? I'm just curious, and I really appreciate the offer. I said, by the way, but I'm just curious how you get these seats. And then finally he wrote me back saying, well, I think I should probably introduce myself. I'm John Henry of the Boston Red Sox. And I couldn't believe it. I was like, you got to be kidding me. I was like, and I still didn't really believe him. But then he gave me the number of his assistant. He's like, I've been playing baseball sim card games since APA in the 60s. He's like, and I really enjoy Out of the Park, and I really appreciate everything you've done for the game. So I want to, give you the seats to the game. And I'm like, oh my God. And he gave me the name of his assistant and the phone number. He said, you can call her to figure out the logistics. And I'm like, what? This is the day before opening day. I'm like, all right. So I call the very next thing, first thing in the morning, because it was kind of late in the evening that night. I was like, I'm not going to call his assistant now at 8:00. So 7:00 the next morning or 8:00 the next morning, I call. And I'm like thinking, she's like, oh, I don't know who you are. Like, I was thinking that. I call. I'm like, hi, I'm Mike Silva. I'm like, I spoke to John Henry yesterday. He said I'd be able to get tickets for today's game. And she's like, hey, Mike, how are you? I've been waiting for you to call. Like they were waiting for me. She's like, I was going to ask John if he had your numbers, to see if you, to get you, to get in touch with you to see if you want to, And she's like, well, the tickets are. Did he tell you where the seats are? I'm like, no. And she's like, well, they're in the first row, adjacent to the Red Sox dugout, 4 seats. She's like, food and drinks are complimentary throughout the game. She's like, I'm going to give you, in case it rains, I'm going to give you 4 passes to the indoor restaurant. All this. I'm just sitting there like, oh my God, like what? So I call my brother, and my brother doesn't believe me because my brother doesn't even know that I play these games. I don't really tell, none of my family or friends, close friends that, know they don't really do the same stuff. I'm the only one who does this, like the sim games. And so my brother's like, what do you do? Like, how do you know? How is this possible? That John Henry's giving you the ticket. So we ended up going to the game, and let me just sorry for I know this is a duplicate of it, but it is a good story. Let me just find them. So we ended up going to the game, sitting in the seats, And during the opening, the ceremonies, they had all the, they had the 86 Red Sox 40th anniversary. All the 86 Red Sox players were there. It was like right up my alley. So I saw all these guys walking right by me. I'm in the first row, right next to the Red Sox dugout. I'm sitting right next to where Alex Cora was sitting, like on the other side of the railing. And yeah, all Wade Boggs.
If there
walking
wasn't a
by.
railing there, he would have been in the Red Sox dugout. That's how close he was.
Let me just find the pictures. Oh, sorry, just bear with me for 1 second. Okay, so here is that's me. That was my seat. There's Alex Cora and Jason Veritek right behind me.
Dude,
So
that is.
and let's see, I got and then look at that. So then I'm sitting there while the game was going on, but during the game, during the pregame, there was all these people on the field. They had, the governor of Massachusetts was there. All the dignitaries were all out there. And all of a sudden, I'm just sitting there in my seat taking pictures. Like, I'm just like walking with my phone, like going around, like, I can't believe these seats. These are amazing. And I'm texting my wife. I'm sitting down texting my wife, and all of a sudden my brother like elbows me in the side, and he's like, Mike, and he points up at me, and there's John Henry sitting there, right? He's like, "Are you Mike Silver?" I'm like, "Yeah." I stood up. I was like, "Thank you so much for the tickets. These are great." He's like, "Oh, it's so nice to meet you and stuff. Thanks for all the stuff you do." And I introduced him to my brother. This is my brother Kenny, and he's like, "Hey, Kenny." He's like, "This guy over here makes the most amazing parks for out of the park radio." And like, he's talking me up to my brother. I'm sitting there like, what? Like, so I asked him if we could take a picture. He invites us on the field, like, so he's like, "Yeah, come on out." So we get a picture. And then this is the coolest thing. So then my brother's out in the field. He's just incredulous. He's like, "I can't believe this." It's like, he's like, "How does this happen?" So wait 1 second. Let me just, so this is, they're announcing the Red Sox lineup. Look.
They're sitting there talking about the out of the park baseball game while the Red Sox are being announced.
My brother's like, "This is ridiculous." There's Joe Morgan right there. It was amazing. It was just amazing.
Wow.
Isn't that amazing? So
that is incredible. What a story. That's
yeah. We always say like we can't think of a crazier hookup of people from playing this games.
And it also. Oh, sorry, go ahead.
Yeah. No. I was just gonna say, yeah. And the amazing thing to me, like Jamie said, we were talking about out of the park baseball like that whole time, and his wife, John Henry's wife, had to come and tug him. She was tugging at his jacket, saying, "John, we have to go to this other thing. We have to do this." They had to do some interview or something. So and then he sent me I sent him a thank you after a message after the game when I was on my way home. I messaged him saying, "It's the best sports experience of my life. Thank you so much. Sorry, I kept blowing you off for all those times for the last 3 or 4 years. I didn't know who you were, so I was just being cautious." He writes me back. He's like, "Oh, it was a great day. I'm glad, And he said, "You were right to be cautious." He's like, there's a lot of scams. So he's like, "I understand." He's like, "But here's my email address." He's like, "We know each other now." And he's like, and he said, he's like, "We share a passion for the same thing. So, maybe we'll talk again soon." So I'm like, "Wow, this is my boy." Uh-huh. And then the next day, the fans at Fenway are chanting for him to sell the team. They're like, the next day the Red Sox get smoked, and I saw a thing on sports radio like, "Yeah, they're chanting to sell the team." And this is and John Henry. I'm like, "You can't talk like that about my boy now."
That's what a story.
So funny. Yeah.
So many angles, including one being you never know what your persistence in doing what seems to be a niche passion. You never know what doors that can open. I've certainly experienced that. The fact that your dedication to this led you to being buddies with John Henry. What a ride. That's so cool.
It's just the most amazing. It was my day in the sun. I guess my 15 minutes. I guess that's what you call it. Because I felt like I was
doing these for years and years too.
Yeah,
so,
and I never wanted to do any this. This is really a lot for me. This project, I just like building the stadiums. That was just something when I was a kid, I was always fascinated with all the different stadiums. Like at that time, all those cookie cutters were around, like Busch Stadium and stuff. So sometimes I would just scribble things on a notebook paper, like when I was a kid, just the outlines of the parks and the different dimensions. So now that I got a chance to actually do something like 3D and just try to learn it for free with the Google SketchUp, I was like, I'll give it a shot. So I just fell in love with doing that. And then I just came up with a system where I was able to do the rest of these parks. So that's kind of how that works. So
and he follows the tournament. So You don't know.
Yeah,
might be
he
watching
actually
you right
mentioned
now.
on his thing he watches. He's like,
Yeah.
I enjoy your BBBB, the big beautiful baseball bash. So he did say he likes that, and he did comment on my thread in the OTP forums on that. So he just said it was outstanding. But yeah, so it's just amazing. And like I said, the main thing that I took from that, and the happiest was that he's just like one of us. He's like one of us in this community here that just plays these games and enjoys that and enjoys the simulation. And honestly, it was amazing to think that he was just a fan of mine. Like, he was like, he wanted to meet me, which explains why he was persistent about the whole thing. He could have easily just said, oh, he's turned me down like 4 times. I'm not going to ask him again. Right. He kept asking me and asking me and asking me. And I was like, wow, it's just, it was because I didn't know who he was. If I had known who he was, obviously I would have probably accepted way, way sooner than that. But the fact that he just kept being persistent, I was just like, wow. I was like, and the fact is, like, he really liked the staves. He really liked that. And he expressed his desire that he wishes OOTP would get, he hopes that it gets a lot better in the future and stuff. And yeah, he's into it. And
He's just a big fan of these games. Yeah.
One funny story and one funny thing while I was talking to him, I did mention, I said, yeah, I was like, yeah, I know Kurt Schilling plays the game because that's well known. He's on the OOTP forums quite a bit. He's not shy about his person, who he is and stuff. And he's not shy at all. Him. So but anyway, so I mentioned that to John Henry, and John Henry said something like, yeah, he said something to the effect of, yeah, his interactions on that forum are probably some of the best interactions I've ever seen of him. Like, basically, like, and to me saying something like they probably didn't get along too well or something. Like, he made something to that effect. I can't really recall it 100% because there was a lot going on, but it was kind of funny. I was like chuckling inside, like,
That's funny.
Anyway, yeah. So, all right. Well, that story's out now. I thought you would enjoy it because obviously, I'm sure you know who John Henry is. And my other thing, my last thing I want to say about it is just, when I thought of John Henry before that whole thing, I didn't know really what to think. I just thought he was just some guy worth $7 billion. Probably didn't care much about the game and was just, counting his money in the background. But it's really, it was nice for me to actually see that this guy is just a normal guy. He was very personable. And he's a fan of these regular, the thing that us average schmoes do. You know what I mean? He likes to do the same thing.
A big baseball fan. I grew up a big Cardinals fan. A big
Stan Musial. Yep.
Awesome. Yeah, no, it definitely changes how I see it. I would have just thought the same thing. Typical super rich magnate above the common man in his luxury suite. This definitely humanizes him, and I would not have guessed at all. He even just kind of looks like a really prim and proper rich guy.
He does, yeah.
Just never imagined he'd be like a gritty, like baseball fantasy nerd, like a gay, like into these games.
Yeah.
What a cool! I just thought, what a cool way.
Just blew my mind.
Just the fact that if he was someone who didn't really, care about, the little guy, so to speak, he could easily just ignored Mike. But he made the effort to even make that offer just at all. Whether Mike accepted it the first time or the fourth time, the fact that he did that, I think that speaks pretty highly of him just as a person.
It's kind of like Elon Musk playing like Diablo. He's a big Diablo player. I mean, imagine if you're like playing Diablo and all of a sudden you're playing with Elon Musk. You know what I mean? It's like that kind of. But this is different because this guy reached out to me just because something I did.
Yeah, I mean, the fact that he plays the games is one thing, but the fact that he also reached out to you, I think that's what takes it to the next level.
Oh yeah. So. Great story. I mean, I'll gladly answer anything anybody has any questions about it, because I mean, that's pretty much the story in a nutshell. Other than the fact that my brother was basically awestruck. He was more awestruck than I was because he couldn't. And I'll tell you one other thing with my wife. She was like, I think she might have saw the light just a little bit of what I do now when I'm in the basement. She's like, oh, okay. Like, so this is the stuff you do and this got you this. I'm like, oh my God, so I get a little bit less flack from my wife now. And I'm like,
there you go, another benefit.
Yeah, exactly. My wife is a little bit closer to understanding what it is we do here. You know what I mean? So, well, that's just funny. But yeah, and then also I had 2 extras. Don't forget, he offered me 4. I had 4 seats, and I only brought my brother because that's the only time. That's all the time I had to really get anybody together. A few other people I asked, they're like, oh no, I got to go to work today. It's like, it was the day of. So when I was at the game, I saw on Facebook, there was 2 guys that I grew up with, I saw that they were at the game and I was like, hey, is it just you 2 at the game together? And they're like, yeah, we go here every, it's our 20th year opening day. I texted them. And I'm like, well, come on down. I was like, I'm sitting right next to the Red Sox dugout. I was like, So I'm like, get out of here. I'm like, no. Like, so they come down, and I told the security guy that was basically sitting right next to. He was standing right next to us the whole game. Like it was like must have been the personal security for the right near the dugout. And I was like, hey, I'm gonna have two guys that are sitting up there in the Sam Adams seats or whatever. They're gonna come down because I got these 2 extra seats. And I asked John Henry too. He's like, oh, it's fine. So all of a sudden I get a text like, hey, they're not letting us down. So up the usher up there wasn't letting them on because they didn't have any tickets. So I asked the security guy, hey, my buddies are up there waiting. They're not letting them in. The security guy's like, he just motions with his hand. He's like, hey, like the guy calling to the bullpen. He's like, and then the usher just lets them right down. It's great. And so then they sit down, and I'm like, hey guys, what's going on? I haven't seen them in a while. I'm like, great to see you. Like, this is amazing. Like, this is amazing. And I'm like, hey, order whatever you want. You can get any drinks, you can get any food. I felt like I was king shit. Pardon the expression. But I actually felt like I was like, oh, this is great. Like, these guys, they went to opening day, and I'm giving them an experience. So, it was just kind of cool. It was just a fun thing. And then, and I know the guy, they were they're buddies of old buddies of mine. I hadn't seen them in a while, but it was just fun to see that. And I was like, who would have thought 4 guys from the town we're at are sitting in the first row next to the Red Sox dugout at Fenway, Anyway.
If I had more warning, I was like, if you don't have plenty to go, I would have like flown up there just to.
Oh, I know.
But
I think
Dave was mentioning too, like, because before he knew who it was, we were talking to each other the night before, and he's telling me this guy keeps offering me tickets or whatever, and I'm like, because I actually knew that John Henry, like, I had read an article that he likes out at the park baseball. I was just joking, what if it was John Henry? But I meant like, what if it was John Henry?
Yeah, you did mention that. I do remember that. I was like, nah.
Yeah.
I was like, it's not John Henry. But you did say
yeah.
that.
The next morning I get up, he goes, look who he sent me a screenshot of the thing, like saying, hey, I'm John Henry of the Red Sox. I almost fainted when I saw that.
Oh man, so good times. Anyway, that was a great I mean, I love telling it. And I went to the Digital to Dice convention, which I'm not sure if you're familiar with that, but this is the second annual one that Dave Gardner has for the mostly for cards and dice baseball game of sports games. So I went to that last year. I went this year, and this year I had that great story to tell. So that was fun. And it's just great for the community. I feel like it's just something that gives it just really gives relevance to to this niche community. So it's cool. Okay, well. Let's want to continue on. So Marshall, you up for hanging out for a little while longer, or do you have to hard stop at all anytime, or it's? I mean, you can.
I could definitely stick around for another game. I do have to. I could do another game. I do have actually I have a perspective. What could be an opportune new job. I have to reply to. Could set up an interview for that. I also have to get dinner, but I'm definitely down for one more game. And
okay,
I mean,
cool.
it's your
Let's
it's
do the
your
Royals.
call. Ultimately, but if you want to do Royals,
Royals game,
I'm down for it.
All right, let's jump into that then. We'll get that going. I'll just bring the full screen here.
Get my Royals, my Royals minutia. The gears are turning now.
Yes. So I just want to quickly go through the road to the final 32 for these two. The 27 Yankees beat the 46 Phillies to begin with, the 43 Indians, the 2017 Diamondbacks, the 97 Anaheim Angels, 97 Houston Astros right after that. So 2 97 teams right in a row. And then the 73 Red Sox they beat in the finals. That was a good final too, even though it was a sweep. Those games I remember being pretty good.
Yeah, that was a surprise appearance by the 73 Red Sox.
Yeah.
Sure.
And then the Royals had to play the 25 Giants, who they swept. They beat the 2017 Boston Red Sox, which is a pretty good team. 2-1, they beat them. 2024 Tigers, they beat them 2-0. 63 Dodgers, 2005 Yankees. Not bad teams here.
These are all, except for the 25 Giants, those are all playoff teams, including the 63 Dodgers, who are a championship team. That's 72 Royals.
Their bats were just on fire.
72 Royals are cleaning house on some really good teams.
Yes. I mean, well, they weren't a very high seed in the tournament, so they probably had a really rough, they had a rough schedule.
And then some of the good teams were winning too, because sometimes you could get lucky, and if you upset a team and another team upset a team, you might get a little easier opponent, but they definitely did.
Yeah. So anyway, that's the little. I like that. I think that's pretty good to do that and give everybody a taste of what they beat. Who's there? Cards and Dice with Don. Hey, Don.
Hey.
Never heard of you. Thank you for joining. And we have Marshall Garvey here, who's the author of Interstate 85. I'm sorry, was that the yeah? Let me just bring up the book title. Interstate 85, the Royals, the Cardinals, and the Show Me World Series.
Yeah.
I'm definitely picking this up myself. I do have to admit, I have not read it yet. I know a lot of people, when they do have guests on their shows, they've already read the book the night before, So I'm sorry, I'm not like that way. But here we are we're at Kansas City's Municipal Stadium, believe it or not. This is
That's right.
This is
Yep.
the last year for it.
Oh,
Last
this was
year.
You're right. I forgot that. I thought we were going to see Coffin, but then I forgot that it is Municipal.
Mhm.
So this is kind of cool though, because I didn't think we'd ever see Municipal Stadium in the final 32. But here we are.
Looks great. Oh, this is
Yep.
cool.
So we got okay for the Royals. We got Lou Piniella, Amos Otis, Richie Scheinblum in outfield. We got Paul Shaw at third, Freddie Patek at short. Who's little Freddie Patek? He's so small in this game. It's so funny. Cookie Rojas, John Mayberry, and Dick Drago, and on the mound, and Ed Kirkpatrick, the catcher. And for the Yankees, we got Bob Musial. I mean, this is the 27 Yankees that kind of not need to be introduced, but Earl Combs, Babe Ruth, Lou Gehrig, Tony Lazzeri, Pat Collins, Mark Koenig. That's Joe Dugan, not Jimmy Dugan. I always want to say Jimmy Dugan when I say Jude. And an Urban Shocker is on the mound for the Yankees. Sorry. All right, so we're gonna get this going.
Sean's
Okay.
playing the 1933 season while he's listening.
Yep. There's a story about that scoreboard in center field. I believe that's the scoreboard that the Boston Braves had at Braves Field and was sold to the Royals, or not the Royals, to the Kansas City Athletics. I believe that's the case. I think that's the same scoreboard.
I think you're right. We wonder.
At least part of it is. Yeah. I know this piece, the rectangular piece is. And then this little piece at the edge is new. So that little pointy piece there.
That's wild. Yeah, I wonder if
had
that
a lot
was a
of people
Charlie
with
Finley maneuver.
Which is striking that.
Infamous pennant porch or whatever he tried to install.
Oh yeah, I actually have a version of that. Right on the right. Was it the Yankees they played that year? And the whatever it was that they put a section of temporary stands in the right field corner and it was the same exact dimensions as the Yankee Stadium right field. They made it so basically it came out to here and then we kind of went in out this. Yeah, it's pretty funny. That was for like maybe 1 or 2 seasons. Maybe it might have only been 1 season they had that. I think the commissioner made them get rid of it because it was.
All that's missing is Harvey the Mechanical Rabbit, and then you'd have the full Municipal Stadium experience.
Oh, Amos Otis. He's always been he's been a pretty good performer in the bash.
He was a stud. He was a great player.
Yeah. That's a player that the Mets probably would have wanted to hang on to.
Got a base hit. Yeah, Lazzeri. No outs, 2 on. And there's another hit. So the Yankees they clean the clock of I think was it 15-6 or
something like that. I can't remember, but I know the Royals got off to a really good start. And the Yankees came right back and then just didn't stop.
Swings and misses. He struck him out.
All right. Well, there's 1 out. Oh, got 2 strikeouts in a row. Look at that, Dick Drago bearing down.
He can wriggle out of this,
Oh, he got out of that inning in a minimal damage.
If he came out with just 1 run, that was definitely a win.
I thought that was going to be a bloodbath. No bases loaded, nobody out, 1 run in. I was like, oh boy.
Here's Lou Piniella.
How many years was he on the Royals? I don't remember him being on there this year. I don't remember him playing with the Royals.
No, he came up with the Royals.
69.
Oh, okay.
He was on their inaugural team in 1969. So I must have been there for. Was he on the 73 team? At the minimum, I guess it's 69, 72, which is a amount of time.
Okay.
Yeah. At some point in the mid 70s.
There's a base hit that could score a run. Are we gonna get a tie ball game? The throw home. Yes, they do. They score.
That's one thing this team can do.
Paul Shaw.
Paul Shaw.
All right, so we got a 1-1 game after 2.
It's Babe Ruth. You hit a home run.
Babe Ruth struck out twice.
Good pitch.
He's maybe I think. And Gehrig strikes out. 5 strikeouts for Drago.
He gets Ruth Gehrig. Let's see if he gets Lazzeri.
I think Babe Ruth had a few too many hot dogs the night before here. All right, and there's Dick Drago, the pitcher. As we know, there's no DH in this bash, so all the pitchers hit, which is obviously that's a disadvantage for a lot of the more modern teams that have DHs. But like for instance, I think the '93 Blue Jays we played the other night, and Paul Molitor has to sit on the bench because there's just no space for him.
That's
So
not enough space for the
series
MVP.
I know. It's kind of crazy, right?
Yeah.
It's one of those decisions that's just hard because when you're dealing with like 120 years, you either have to have it or not have it.
Full count pitch on the way, and we'll swing through it.
In the end, it's more fair not to have it.
Oh, that's it. Oh, beats it out. That looks like they fumbled around.
Beat it out. Shoot, I thought that was like a gimme of an out.
Yeah, sometimes the animations aren't exactly the clearest in the world, but sometimes.
Like with this game, it's not a video game. It's just putting up a depiction of what happened. So whether
he was really late on that.
Oh,
Kind of double clutched
6
on the swing.
strikeouts. 7 strikeouts. Holy crap. That's pretty good. 7 strikeouts through 3 innings. I mean, and we found that with using the 1980s statistic, 8 strikeouts. Oh my god!
Wow.
We very few pitchers in this whole bash. You're using the 1980s era stats, kind of, as a guide, and not too many pitchers had a lot of strikeouts. Had double figures in strikeouts. Not it was only maybe a handful every bracket. Not
It's
too many.
not like modern baseball where 10.
Yeah, well,
Plus
now
strikeouts
everybody
is
strikes
normal.
out and hits a home run. Yeah. So Marshall, what do you think of modern baseball? Like since the days since we started bringing in the openers and the starting pitchers pitching no more than 5 innings now. Like, what do you think of that? Is that something you're okay with? And do you follow modern baseball just as much as you used to follow baseball?
I definitely follow the game today really well. It's a complicated thing because I think the game just naturally evolves, and it can be a little asphyxiating to be like, oh, baseball was, it was great only in this era. Like, no doubt, back in said golden age, there were even other old timers who were like, well, it was better back in Ty Cobb's day. I think the game has plenty of good things going for it now, but there are drawbacks. I do think the pace of play is improved. I hate the runner on second. Why?
Oh, yeah, me too. Yeah.
I thought the runner on second was just a well-intentioned but ill-conceived COVID season thing. I can't believe that hung around. Like, why?
Oh,
I hate that.
I agree completely. Yeah. That's the thing. I don't. It's hard for me to see these guys. Maybe it's just because I'm an old codger now, but the seeing these guys making more and more money and pitching less and less is kind of just it's not it's counterintuitive to me. So like these, you know what I mean? Like, you have like the Red Sox, they have Garrett Crochet. He actually is one of the guys that pitches the most, but even he might pitch six innings, and that's it. I mean, with that guy's build, he was like, he should be pitching complete games. Like, I kind of wish it was back to that. But like you said, the pace of play, I do like. The pitch clock, I'm actually happy with. The runner on second, I think, is an abomination.
The runner on second never made sense to me because how big of an issue is extra inning games? Like, how much of a does that really save? Either time or whatever. I mean,
yeah.
Mm-hmm. And I think there have been studies that showed, especially in the 2020 season, it didn't save time. It was like, and I get fascinated with the art of relief pitching, especially when you're in extra innings. What a tightrope you're on, and just putting the pitcher in a precarious position right from the jump. That's not their own fault. I just hate it. I hate it. It's just
speaking of precarious. The Royals have the Yankees in a pretty precarious.
They just took the lead, 3-2.
The 72 Royals are bringing it. They're not going down quietly, if at all. But yes, I think every era has its upsides and its dark sides. With the 80s, what you're describing. Well, this is another reason I love 85. I too love good at length pitching. Most of the games of the 85 World Series were complete games.
Yep.
So it's like, I agree. Like, if you got to do an opener and do a wonky bullpen game, whatever you got to do to win, but give me a masterpiece starting pitching any day.
I just think that the analytics sometimes it's coming. Some of these things are being done to a fault, in my opinion. I just think that as far as the product watching is just, I don't know. To me, it's just, I'm just, like I said, I know I'm an old guy now, and I'm just like a boomer or whatever you want to call me. I'm not a boomer, but but I'm an old guy now compared to the young
There's
people
a
watching
boomer
the
right
game.
there.
Oh, there it is. But the one other thing I don't like is the fact is, what is it, the 3 pickoff rule? I think that's the dumbest thing, one of the dumbest things I've ever seen. Like to basically just almost, tell a pitcher you can only pick off 3 times, or we're giving the guy second base is just kind of crazy to me.
Yeah,
It takes a lot of the strategy out of the game, So
It does. It definitely does. I wasn't even thinking about that rule. Like the pitch clock already, I think, does a good job forcing.
Yeah, the pitch clock, I have to say.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Totally agree with that.
That should have
pitch
been a
clock-
long time ago.
Yeah, the pitch clock, I was a skeptic at first. I think it's won out pretty well, but yeah, 3 pickoff rule, that's just silly. That's just part of the strategy.
Is that do you know why they put that? Was that also to limit the number of pickoffs and therefore quicken the game up? Is that what the reason for that was?
It has to be, otherwise you're taking away a big part. Like I said, a big part.
I know.
Yeah,
I has
and
to.
that's
I can't
also is
understand
to
the
encourage more stolen bases too. Maybe I know they made the bag bigger for that reason, but I don't know if that was tied to the pickoffs.
Oh, we got sports time machines here. He says the Otani rule should be removed.
Yeah,
that's one where you can. Is that where you can take a pitcher out and what is it? You don't lose the DH if you put him in the field or something. Is that what it is? Is that the
It's
Otani
something
rule?
like that. It's like, yeah, I get it. It's such an obvious favoritism rule. It's like, I kind of chuckle because Otani is just that amazing. You almost can't blame MLB for doing it. But yeah, it's a flagrant,
Yeah.
Home run cut and he missed.
3 strikeouts for Babe today.
Monty Montgomery's in the game.
Yeah, the other
I keep thinking that's
the,
Jeff Montgomery. When I saw Montgomery, like Jeff Montgomery,
right? Royals, you're thinking Jeff, in the early '90s, yeah.
Nice play, short.
That's it. All right.
Yeah, the banning of the shift was one of those ones too, where it turned out that it didn't really impact anything on the batting averages.
Well, the funny thing about the shift, I thought, was that, I remember David Ortiz was constantly, they shifted him like crazy, right? And he would never try to go against it. Like, so why, if my thing is, if the players aren't going to try to adjust and just hit the ball to an empty side of the field, why wouldn't they just keep doing the shift? You know what I mean? It's just, that was maddening to me. Like, he would just keep pulling the ball to the second baseman all the time. It didn't matter. The whole left side of the field was empty. I'm like, it just, to me, that's something that analytics probably was screaming about. But anyway,
that was always with Ted Williams, talking about Ty Cobb would just it would drive him crazy. Like, call Ted Williams up on the phone, like, you got to hit the ball the other way.
Yeah. Oh, man.
Swings and misses. He struck him out.
These 27 Yankees are having trouble hitting at Municipal Stadium for some reason.
I know.
Well, I mean, they're striking out. There must be some kind of.
They say Babe Ruth had a RBI double, but his other bats well ended in strikeouts.
Yep.
Watching this Royals-Yankees matchup, you're making me think of all the layers of like Kansas City and Yankees. It's like, obviously we know about
George Brett.
Royals-Yankees rivalry, but even before that, like the Kansas City Blues were a minor league team for the Yankees, the Kansas City Athletics sent way too many. Ooh.
Oh, yeah.
Hold on.
Who is that? Amos Otis, baby.
Amos Otis.
Wow. All right, AO.
Touch them all.
Yeah, that was always the joke with Kansas City when they became the Kansas City A's, that the Yankees still just thought of them as their farm club. Kansas City was still their farm club.
Exactly. They sent all those prospects in the 50s, including a guy named Roger Maris. Like, oops.
Well, yeah, it wasn't thought to be, Kansas City was thought to be like the farm team for the Yankees.
Yeah, it was like Marshall was saying, because it was their farm team when they were a member of the American Association, but then the Athletics moved in there, but the Yankees were always just taking the Kansas City A's best players, so they were like, it's just like they're still their farm team.
All right, the Yankees are down to the last inning. They're down 2 runs in the top of the ninth.
This game is breezed by. I did.
Well, it's I'm just, like I said, I kind of just keep clicking, and we just we'll talk about something if something interesting happens. That's why I like Jamie and I have done this. This is basically our format. We haven't done it on YouTube usually, but we
until you get to the final.
But this is really what we just do. And we let anybody on the Discord would come in. We just shoot the breeze, talk whatever, and just watch some games, and that's kind of how we got through this whole thing. Now look at this. Babe Ruth is the winning the go ahead run.
Let's see if
nobody out.
Who else?
Oh, another walk. So bases loaded.
Uh-oh.
Uh-oh. Lou Gehrig. Oh, it's just Lou Gehrig.
Yeah.
He's over 4. He's
It's
due.
just Lou Gehrig.
Oh, my God. Look at this guy. Take him out. Take him out.
Yeah.
He's still in there. 4 walks in a row. That's amazing. The AI is not taking him out. Oh no, the Yankees are going to take the lead.
Now this is like game 5 of the 1977 ALCS.
Oh, 6-5 Yankees. And they're going to walk him. That's 5. That's 5 walks plus an intentional walk. This guy's got to come out. Oh, now they're going to come home, get 1. They're going to get 2.
They got the force at home, but
all right.
I mean, they can keep it within 1. They still have a snowball's chance.
Another walk, 6-5, 6. That's unreal, and they're not taking them out. That's amazing. There's another one. They're going to throw home this. Oh, we got the play, and they didn't get the double play, but 7-5. That's all. It's got to be some kind of a record.
You definitely get that murderers row feeling there with this Yankees team. With it seems like somebody great is up every time.
Oh my God, an error.
Paul Shaw.
Yeah, Paul Shaw.
Sorry, go ahead.
This is the 72 Royals. Oh, there we go. Now Fitzmaurice finally comes in and gets an out, but Jesus, that was a little too late for the.
Yeah, it's gonna have to be some real 9th inning magic, as Martial would say.
All right, here we go. Now we're in the bottom of the 9th. Paul Shaw, Cookie Rojas, and who's this guy? Bobby Floyd is.
The Yankees brought in Wilcie Moore to try to close it out for him. Oh, Shaw. Oh, lines it out to right field. Hit it hard, but right at him.
So these Kansas City Royals are 2 outs away from being eliminated. And there's a base hit. All right. Not over yet. Bobby Floyd is batting. He's 0 for 1.
Marshall and I did a replay of the 68 World
Series. Drops it in. Yep.
And did it end in 5 games or did they win 4?
Tigers swept by Cardinals 4. But
it was like every game was like close. Yeah, it was like
close. And I was 1 out away from at least taking game 4 to avoid a sweep, and then Jim Northrup stabbed me with that solo shot. That was just
Jim Northrup. They go on at 2-1. He hit a run off the pitch late.
Wow. Yeah. All right. Well, tying run is at the plate with 2 outs in the 9th. Richie Scheinblum, as I like to say from the movie Goodfellas, when he says, "Go get your effing shine box." Go get your effing Scheinblum.
That's in my top 10. Great movie.
Oh, base hit. Keeps it going. Tying runs at first base now.
A funny story about
we got Amos Otis.
I read about him that he was talking about a spring training game when he got out for the cycle. He got thrown out at first, thrown out at second, thrown out at third, and thrown out played all in the game.
And oh my goodness!
Whoa! Oh, we just safe at third. Okay, 8-7. Tying run at third.
This is the 72 Royals player.
Who else?
429. He's 7 for 3 in the series. So. Oh, grounded to third, and he's going to play to first, and that's the game. The Yankees win.
Well, at least the Royals could hang their hat on there. They didn't go down without a fight.
That's a great game. That was fun, though. That was 8-7. So let's see. We got the story of the box score here. The Yankees were kind of even up. No home runs. Babe Ruth hit that 1 double, but he struck out 3 times. Earl Combs left 7 guys on base, and he left those guys stranded.
Now the Royals, they hit and put some runs on. They just couldn't get.
Rojas 2 for 4. Amos Otis with the big home run. Scheinblum 2 for 5, but he came up. Oh no, he actually got a hit in the 9th as well. 3 ribbies up. The pitching wise, those 6 walks is not really going to be something Ted Abernathy's going to be happy about. So
yeah.
But yeah, that was great. And let me just update the. So this is the bracket. Where are the Royals at? Oh, they're on the other side. So the Yankees sweep the Royals, and they're just going to move on to the next round. And they'll play the winner of the 2022 Braves and the 79 Pirates. So,
nice.
So yeah, one more team. That's 30 teams left now. 2 teams down,
right.
30 teams left.
Now down to 30 teams.
Okay, well, Marshall, I mean, if I don't want to keep you here, but I really appreciate you coming and hanging out. I mean,
this is going to take a while, so it's always an open invitation to join us other nights.
Oh, for
Any
sure.
anytime you want to come on, anytime. Honestly, in fact, actually, I want to read your book, and I hopefully it won't. I
That's
assume
actually
it's not going to be a tough read, but I'd like to have you back on after I read the book. If you don't mind, that'd be fun.
Oh, of course. Yeah. Especially after you've read it, we could talk about specific points and stuff, the stuff you like the most, or any behind the scenes questions about it. You got it. Yeah, no, I'll definitely be back. This was an absolute blast. Just chatting with you guys, hearing your great John Henry story, talking about the book. This was all a total blast. I'll if I can, I'll try and pop back in another night this week. Just feel free to ping me whenever and let me know when you're streaming. And then certainly after you've read the book, I'll
keep you updated what nights we're going to stream. And then, anytime, you're free and you want to do it, we'll always have you on.
Sweet.
All
Thank you so much,
guys.
So
the book I'm showing on the screen, that's his book, Interstate 85, the Royals, the Cardinals, and the Show Me World Series. So I encourage anybody here that hasn't read it already to pick it up if they can. And that's it. So thank you very much, Marshall. I appreciate it. And hopefully we'll talk soon.
You bet. Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you, Marshall, for coming on. That was great.
Anytime.
All right. Have a good night. Yep. Bye-bye.
Bye.
All right. That was our first guest. Well, Dave Lando. I don't consider him
Dave Lando is a special correspondent for the Bash.
He's the guy who tests the language filter on YouTube. So he comes on, just throws some F-bombs out there, and then he leaves, So, that was a good game.
It was a
great guy. Yeah. Marshall's a great guy. He's very laid back, and just like everything Jamie said was true. He's a really nice guy. He's very knowledgeable about baseball. I love hearing the story. I could talk to him anyway, just because I has these little things I don't know about, so it's great.
It's always nice when you see someone, especially, they didn't play it as a kid, pick up this hobby and really get into it and appreciate it. It just makes you think there's probably a lot more Marshalls out there that, obviously you got to be someone that's into gaming and into baseball history and, that everything's got to line up. But I think there's a lot of people like him that just never even really thought about playing these games or didn't even know they exist.
Yep. All right, so I think it's time for what do you call it? A commercial break here. Sorry. So let's see. We'll bring back which one we want. I think the
maybe it's a good time for Babe Ruth after the
Babe Ruth since the 27 Yankees.
And now a word from baseball's biggest star, Babe Ruth.
Say, boys and girls, when I step up to the plate, I like plenty of pep, and that's why I say start your day with Bash Balls. They're mighty tasty, crisp as a base hit, and packed with the kind of zip that helps a fella swing in there with confidence. So ask Mother for Bash Balls tomorrow morning and take it from me, the Babe. They're a real champion's breakfast.
Get Bash Balls at your grocer's, the official cereal of the big, beautiful baseball bash.
And if you get
I love that face. Sorry. My producer here, I guess, has to be fired.
I guess we're making up for not showing the commercial earlier. They wanted to double down.
Yeah.
They used to do that on TV. They would jam in an extra commercial if they forgot to show it.
Thanks, Sean. I appreciate that comment. Yeah, 1985 was not a good year for me in baseball. I hate both the Royals and Cardinals, so I'm not going to read that. Okay, great.
If you were a Blue Jays fan or a Dodgers fan, it was probably not the most fun postseason.
Yep. All right, so let's. I guess we'll continue on with some more games here. We got the 69 Royals trying to stave off
upset in the making right here.
Cuellar versus Wellmeyer. Wellmeyer is a guy I'd never heard of, but he's on the team. So let's see. And let me just bring up the. Oh, that's not what I want. Let me find that game. That's not it. Where are they? Oh yeah, okay. And we got the road to the final 32 for these two teams. We got the 69 Orioles won the bracket 29 in undefeated fashion. They did not lose a game in any of those series. They beat the Kansas City Athletics of 1960, the 1914 Tigers, swept away the Rangers of 2016, the 1996 Braves, 2011 Tigers, and the 1937 Yankees, all sweeps. They did perfectly. How many teams did that? 3? Was that them, the Astros,
Yeah,
and
them
the
and the
38 Yankees, right?
38 Yankees and
Yep.
81 Astros. So
Yep.
undefeated teams.
And the St. Louis Cardinals won bracket 5 by beating the 50 Boston Braves, the 2001 Seattle Mariners, 97 Milwaukee Brewers, the 87 Astros, 1978 Philadelphia Phillies, and the 1912
That
Philadelphia
was a
Athletics.
good night. Pair of them. They after their first 2 series, then they had a pretty easy ride. They swept their last 4 series into the finals.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're ready to start some game action here again. The Orioles and Cardinals at Busch Stadium the 3rd, I think. All right. Here we go. Todd Wellmeyer. And line out to left field. And Frankie Robinson 0 for 3 in the first game.
Both versions of Frank Robinson were big for the 71 Orioles and the 69 Orioles.
Yep. Here's Mike Cuellar. Nice lefty. All right.
At least statistically, it was probably their best pitcher that year.
Oh, so Marshall Garvey, I think did he mention he has a Substack, Martial Arts it's called?
Oh, that's correct. Yeah,
that's a
he
cool
does.
name. Yeah, that's a cool name.
Yeah, it's an interesting Substack page. It's a mix of pop culture, music history, and sports, obviously.
Oh, is that right?
I definitely
great.
recommend people
Yeah,
subscribe to it.
I'm gonna give that a follow too.
Yeah,
So.
and like I said, even though he's a younger guy, at least younger to us, he has a strong interest in the 80s, so he does a lot of stuff that 80s and 90s. So
Okay. Yeah, he's a nice guy. We can relate to him pretty well. And he's not that much younger than us, but he's he's 15, 14 years younger.
he's a good generation behind us.
Yep. All right. We got Troy Gloss. Ooh, that's a long run. All right. Scoreless after 2. Only 1 hit in the game so far. Mark Belanger. There we go. Base hit for Mark Belanger.
That's just what Mark Belanger does right there.
That's it. It's just.
See if the Orioles can capitalize here with the runner in scoring position.
Wellmeyer falling apart here. 1 out. Frankie Robinson. And boom, base hit.
He does. Wow.
And only 1 run's going to come in.
And the team's on that brink of elimination. Getting the lead early is always a big deal for. Take a little bit of pressure off him.
It's 3-0 now. Orioles. There's Davey Johnson. And he flies out to left. All right, we got Ankiel, Molina, and Wellmeyer up.
And one thing I've noticed too, because I'm someone that normally does more season replays, and so you play a lot of the games. You're playing some game in middle of June, the second game of the series.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
I enjoy that for what it is. But I do appreciate now that I've kind of seen this as big tournament format, the drama of it's just it's basically one postseason series after another.
True. And it's kind of like you're almost telling the whole idea of choking or the big moments. It's kind of takes when you're doing a series, it does take. It makes it a little bit more interesting, and you can kind of make more stories up in your mind.
It's just the way in real baseball or sports in general. Yeah. The postseason's always larger than it has
Oh yeah. Yeah, because I'm not much of a I'm not like I think we mentioned as far as my how my games go, how I do my sports sims is really not really so much one-offs or even one-off tournaments. It's, as you can see, it's either a huge thing or it's nothing.
Yeah.
So I either have my full season replay where I play every game of every team, or I do something like this where I play every team that ever played.
Well, you
But I
pretty
don't really
much
do.
don't
Yeah.
even. You're like, won't even play a one-off game of any kind.
Although I do have to say, it would be cool to take a team and just play a replay. I feel like with the amount of games that I play, doing a single team season replay would probably take me not that long.
Yeah, and that's a pretty common way that a lot of people do
It is.
play.
And
Like, for
so I
you,
do,
you're like,
yeah.
as you kind of went in with the playing every game out. So,
Ooh,
but yeah,
I mean, I'm just saying that I'm starting to think. Oh, this is going for 3. I'm starting to think about other ways. Maybe I would like to do that at some point.
yeah.
Just
Sometimes
do
it's
it,
good
take
too
the-
when you do that because your perspective is different, so you kind of get
Yeah.
more immersed into that team.
Wow, another walkathon here again. There's 5 walks with Willmeyer. Oh, there's a throw home. Are they going to get him at first? No, they do not. 1 out, and Davy Johnson with the bases loaded. There you go.
Strike at the knees.
Oh, another walk. 6 walks for this guy. And 7 walks. I can't believe they're still leaving him in there. That's amazing. Oh, that's I don't know what to do about that. If there's some kind of way you can. I thought I'd do a quick hook or something, I suppose. That's just 7 walks, though. That's kind of like the guy's probably clearly not had it,
Yeah.
not had this stuff there. Huh. There's Sean talking about hockey here. That's Vegas. Yeah, they swept the Avalanche. That's a surprise. I picked Colorado to win the whole thing. Now it looks like my daughter actually wants the Canadians to win. I'm like, wait, where'd you grow up again? But that's all right. I mean, I'm old enough now where I don't even the Canadians winning don't really bother me. It's more like if the Bruins and Canadians were playing each other, then I'd be kind of pissed. I'd hate the Canadians more, but if they win, that's not the worst thing in the world. But although something about I don't know, the fact that the Canadian team hasn't won the Stanley Cup since 1993 is that's kind of interesting to me. See if we keep that going. There's a home run, Paul Blair. Look at that.
Blair, yeah, he was
There you go.
the MVP and the bracket for this team.
That's a shot out to left center field. Lucky fan. Frank Robinson.
Great defensive outfielder in the years that when he did put the bat together too. And,
Yep.
A really good player.
Rick Ankiel lines a single. Yeah, what's he got? He's got, look at it, 80 and 80 range, 80 arm. That's pretty nasty.
Yeah.
That's about as good as you can get there.
That's why if you're Jim Palmer, you go ahead and let it hit all the fly balls they want out there.
Oh yeah. Oh, Cuellar, and then their infield isn't too shabby either. I don't think, right? Belanger is pretty.
Oh yeah,
Belanger.
It's one of the better infields of their time for sure.
I mean, let's see. You got 60. Yeah, I think that's not terrible, but they're not 75 for Yadier from the arm. Another base hit for Boog Powell. Well, they only got 6 hits. I thought they had more. Kyle McClellan's in there pitching now.
They're getting walks so much they don't get a chance to get a hit.
I know it's true. Good point.
He's picking up the new pitcher's picking up where Wellmeyer left off.
Yeah, I know. There's Belanger, 25 power. Hey, it doesn't mean he can't hit one up the middle. Oh, the Orioles that's a bad throw. Gets by the catcher and a run.
They should have had him dead to rights. Yeah, and they threw it over.
Oh, Ankiel.
Huh?
Well, he was throwing it home, so I guess he had to throw it.
Yeah,
off.
that's true. Yeah, throw it home where his forte.
That's it. He's like, I got to throw it over the plate. Oh man. Oh, let's see what this song is.
Yeah, people can name
I'm
the
not.
song.
Yeah, it doesn't sound familiar to me. It's not Moon River. It's not. It's not girl from Ipanema.
Don't play Lady of Spain.
Yeah, you don't ever play Lady of Spain again. That's great. That actually would be a fun song to put
Yeah,
on.
you gotta get Lady of Spain in there.
I used to go to this bar when I was like in my 20s, and I used to go out drinking. We used to go. My buddy's aunt owned a bar in Cambridge, and it was like a little. They had like live music on the weekends and stuff. And it was like not great, just kind of like emerging people, like small bands that like just trying to get on the scene. And there was always this one guy that would open up. We'd start the night out. He ran the show thing. His name was Mickey Bliss, and he had an organ combo. It was Mickey Bliss's organ, and basically he had an organ, and then he'd have like the guitarist and the drummer, and he'd play the same songs over and over again. And one of his staples was "Girl from Ipanema." It was just like, I'm like, oh my god! So every night we'd pregame to go out, and we'd hear that. We'd hear like some other songs. It's just some.
When
some
I
other
hear
funny
that song,
songs.
at least the musical, the non-lyrical version of it makes me think of the grocery store.
Yeah, exactly. Or an elevator. It's like
Yeah.
elevator music. Oh man, more walks. 7-0 Orioles. I think it's safe to say this team's going to stave off elimination in this game. Another walk. This is just bad. And a base hit up the middle.
Mm-hmm. This is one of those games that on the disc tray we would have just simmed it to the end.
Yeah. What? There's a double play. All right, bottom of the eighth.
We can't do that because this does determine who's wins the round robin.
Am I wrong? No, but Rugg did tie the room together. I bet you Dave Lando's in snooze town right now.
Yep, it's getting close to 10 o'clock out in Chicago.
Yep. All right.
Aaron Miles, he was definitely a good player for Sean on the Field of Dreams.
Yep, and Ryan Ludwig.
Ryan, look at that one, yeah.
All right. And here we go. Mercifully, we're at the bottom of the ninth inning of this game, and now watch they're gonna mount a furious rally. Mike Cuellar still in there trying to finish out the game. Line drive out.
He's trying to get
well.
the shot out if you can.
Oh no, base hit. What do we got for pitches here for Cuellar? 91 pitches. That's not bad at all. That's an efficient game.
I say he'd been cruising pretty good.
There we go. Double play. That's game. Shutout for Mike Cuellar, and the Orioles survive force a game 3. Mm-hmm. 9 hits for the Orioles. A home run by Blair. 4 double plays the Orioles hit into. Yeah. Oh no, I'm sorry. They were 4 double plays the Cardinals hit into.
Yeah, the Orioles turned 4 double plays. Yeah.
Yes, my fault. But no, look at that though. 6 hits, no walks, no strikeouts. Very efficient here. Whereas on the other side, 7 walks, 6 earned runs for Wellmeyer. That's
10 for the team total.
10 walks, yeah, it's pretty bad.
Not going to win too many games when you walk 10 guys, that's for sure.
Nope. So let's see. Let me just close this out. All right. What else? So we got. We can play one more game, I think, for tonight. How's that sound?
Yeah, we should get one more. What do we have? The
75 red, the big red machine, trying to close out the 43 White Sox.
Yeah, we'll get another one of the powerhouses on.
And let me just go through. Let me just find the 72. Excuse me for a minute.
This team and the 27 Yankees, have some bad blood going.
Yeah. So we got the Royals won. The Cincinnati Reds of 1975 won bracket 8, and they beat the 95 Cardinals, 2009 Twins, 2004 Astros, 1903 Cubs, 1978 Giants, and the 68 Phillies. The poor Phillies, man, they made it to the finals like 4 times.
One of their 4 trips to the finals.
Yep. 43 White Sox lost. I'm sorry, they beat the almost every series except for one won 3 games. So the 2019 Red Sox they beat the 1967 Athletics, 59 Tigers, 42 Pirates, the 45 Yankees were the only team they swept, which is interesting. And the 40 White Sox in the finals. Yeah. So there's two White Sox teams in that final bracket.
The only time that happened.
Yep.
I mean, not just White Sox, but 2 teams from the same franchise.
All right, we got Joe Morgan batting against Johnny Humphreys pitching. And we're here at Comiskey Park.
We'll see how they did. The White Sox did have pretty decent pitching.
Yeah, Johnny Humphreys was pretty good, I think, that year. So Ken Griffey's been pretty good too, but
He was really late on that. Kind of double clutched on the swing.
Yeah, this 43 team, 43, 44, 45 are seasons that probably don't get replayed that often because of the Warriors.
Yeah, exactly. George Foster. Base hit. And
Johnny Bench right behind him.
Yeah, he's the guy's clutch. What can you say? Oh, and it looks like the trailing run is going to get thrown out. That's Johnny Bench gets thrown out.
Aggressive base running.
Yes. And a run scores on the ground out to third, and here comes Cesar Geronimo. Ooh, that's a tough play for the pitcher. He throws. Oh, it's beaten out by Geronimo. Infield single is Concepcion.
We have John Comey coming in to cheer on his White Sox.
Oh, John Comey, how's it going? John C. That was my interview on Twitch on his channel. That was great. Thank you, John.
Okay. Yeah, you were telling me about that. Yeah.
Yeah. Thanks, John, for coming in. Appreciate it. You missed Marshall Garvey here. He was here. You know, he wrote a book about the 1985 World Series. I was pimping that out for him.
Yeah,
and,
great guy. Yeah, if, anybody that did come on later, they should go back and at least. If you don't want to listen to us, listen to Marshall. He's definitely an interesting guy.
Yep. Hope your back's doing better, John. He was able to have the interview, but I think he was struggling with his back when he was interviewing me. So I hope the 2-hour interview wasn't too bad for him. I was just rambling on.
Not there, right there.
Oh, stolen base attempt, and he's safe. Wally Moses, baby. And here's Joe Cool. Walked him. Here's Dick Color. Somebody mentioned Dick Color. Was that
I think it was Sean, yeah. World's Worst
Sean? Yeah. Oh, it lines out. All right, 1-0. So John's he's rooting for the wartime Sox.
That's hit so high it went off the screen.
Yep. Yeah, I mean, not to bring it up, but the Baseball Replay Journal. Yeah, he had the article today and a video about things he hates about OTP or whatever. And I mean, he had some good points. I'm not gonna lie. But I mean, he was talking about the camera angles and stuff. Yeah, true. But camera angles don't work that great with the custom parks. I know that for a fact. But I sacrificed that and I just kind of keep the camera straight on, and then I use the pitching camera, as the pitching angle. I mean, to me that's a good workaround, and everything else seems to be fine that way. It would be nice to be able to have the zoomed in, like follow the ball kind of thing all the time.
But the only thing I would say is that you have to take into context too, what is it trying to be? Like, obviously if this was a physics-based game, then you'd say like, well, these graphics aren't, living up to the expected standard. But in Mahjong room games, they're as good or better than anything out there. Obviously, doesn't mean the game is better because it has it, but
Yep.
so I just I'm not going to dispute anybody if they like the graphics or don't. That's obviously a preference, but just to be fair as far as the context or whatever.
Yeah. I mean, right. I mean, if you're gonna judge like OOTP based off of like, MLB the Show level graphics, then yeah, there's a lot of issues with it. But also, if you're gonna judge OOTP against something like Diamond Mine, which has zero graphics, then I would take OOTP in a second.
Yeah, I mean, it would be like saying, well, Dynamite's faulty because it doesn't have graphics. Well, it's not trying to have graphics. That's
Exactly.
not
And to be fair, I guess there's plenty of years where OTP didn't have graphics, and a lot of people would just rather it be that way.
Yeah.
But but you still can play the game without graphics if you don't want to. I mean,
yeah, it was kind of like when these games first started coming out in the 80s, that none of them had graphics, and then or very minimal, and then games like Micro League that started to expand the graphics and Earl Weavers, and then they kind of split and became more going towards the the arcade style games, and it probably got too expensive to make these kind of games with that level of graphics.
Yep. And the Reds took the lead 2-1 in the fourth inning, so you could have got more there. They had bases loaded and they grounded up to third. So
I can remember though playing Tony La Russa's baseball and really liking that. But at some point it was okay. The graphics are good, but I didn't really think the results were what I wanted, and that's how I ended up starting to play Diamond Mine.
Yep. Oh, so yeah, John Comey knows exactly what's going on. Is that the guy with the 37 YouTube channels looking at retro games and all sports, probably including some I've never heard of?
Yeah.
Is it the sports you've never heard of or the games you've never heard of? Probably a little bit of both, I think.
Yeah, the sports I'm sure he probably has heard of.
Well, I'm just kidding.
It's baseball, yeah, but the games definitely not.
Yeah, he's got a lot of Japanese games and.
But not just Japanese games, but Japanese games from 1987.
Yeah,
which I guess could be interesting in their own right if you want to know what the game in Japan looks like in 1987.
Yeah, John, that's the guy. Yeah, Baseball Replay Journal. Yeah, I mean, he's got some good stuff. I'm not gonna lie. I follow him. He has a lot of that stuff when I'm on the train going to work. Definitely some interesting stuff. Especially, I love how he does. You had to think about NHL '94. Which is great. I mean, you can't talk enough about NHL '94. I mean, I'll eat all that stuff up. But I mean, he definitely is very opinionated, and a lot of times he makes his opinions sound like it's fact, and that's the only thing that kind of rubs me the wrong way sometimes. But at the same time, I'm kind of a biased. I'm an OTP guy, although I do like playing these other games as well.
And we all at times will make our opinion,
Yeah, exactly.
But when you do make YouTube videos or anything, you put yourself out there, then people are gonna take it, I wouldn't say offense, but they're gonna call you out more on those things. I guess it doesn't mean you're wrong or right. It just means it's just gonna get noticed more.
Yeah, Johnny definitely has. I noticed he has like a football channel and he has a hockey channel. Yeah, I don't know how the guy I don't know how he organizes all that stuff, to be honest with you. But I'm really I just follow just his baseball one, to be honest with you. I mean, sometimes I'll see his other ones, just happen to pop up, like the NHL '94 ones and stuff. I'll watch, but yeah, and I do subscribe to his Substack too, which again, he does a very well detailed, things. And although sometimes he can be a little skimpy and just throw his opinion out there, like that's the way it should be.
I think I mean, only because I'm not really into. Not that I have any problem with baseball cards. I collected them and I like them, but I'm not into the history of them or so that when he has stuff about that really has not if it's not about baseball games and not, Nintendo games, then I'm going to kind of tune that out. But
Yeah.
obviously, there's people that love that stuff. But
Yep. I mean, we go to the bottom of the sixth inning, still tied up at 2. And here we go. Tom Turner's up. Gary Nolan's still dealing. Turner takes him into center field for a base hit. Ooh, shot grounded to first, and he snags it, and we get the 3-6-3 double play. And we go to the 7th inning. And
Red Sox team is still
they're hanging around. Good pitching, like you said. Johnny Humphreys, 6 1/3 already. 3 walks, no strikeouts, but they're hitting him to where the players are fielding it. So there's a strikeout.
Strike at the knees.
There you go. It's just as I say, the opposite happens. All right.
That's the other thing with the Football Manager and this. I know sometimes they get compared, but I don't know. My intuition is that Football Manager has to be like dwarf this game, and as far as like worldwide popularity and and the resources that they have. To make that game. Yeah,
Football Manager's on now. It's on the PS5 and Xbox.
Yeah, so it's a very
it's everywhere.
Apples and oranges, kind of comparison.
And the White Sox. They drive it down into the corner. That's going to be extra bases. It might even score the run from first if he hurries, and he does not. They score by 2nd and 3rd now.
Yeah,
1 out. See if they walk him. Nah. Tucker goes deep. It falls in. 2 runs will score. Double. Thurman Tucker. That's Dick. Yeah, no, Thurman Tucker. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's 4-2. White Sox. All right. We could have a series here. And Luke Appling played in many, many Bash games.
Yeah.
Not the most, but a lot. Only because a lot of the teams he was on, didn't make it.
Yeah, he had a really long career.
Dick, one of the long-term goals of OT. Asylum was to bring graphics to OTPFM started the 3D one. Yeah, somewhere around there, John. I think I used to play FM. I dabbled. I wasn't like a huge player in it, but I would play it for maybe a few weeks at a time, and then I would put it down for a while. And I might pick it up again. But I haven't played it. The last version of Football Manager I have is like 2016 or something. So
I used to play a game. This was like in the probably mid 90s. It was called 1-0. And I think they had a sequel called 2-0. And it was a soccer manager game, with like text graphics, like little like letters.
Yeah.
And it was addictive, even though I didn't know a ton about soccer at the time.
Wow. 1-0. Yeah, 2-0. Yeah, that's about the next logical sequel. I guess.
I guess you can't get too much, or you're going to get out of the scope of a soccer game. Then they might have to go 2-1.
Yeah. There's a shot to center, but right at the center fielder, Geronimo. All right, we're bottom of the 8th. Joe Cool is up.
But that might have been my first experience ever with like a management type game, sports management.
Yeah. I played OTP before Football Manager, but I did find football. Well, I saw it when it was like Championship Manager or something it was called, and it was called CM at that time, and it was all text mostly. They did have a little 2D representation, but it was interesting because I just thought I'm not a big soccer fan, but I do find the whole fact that every country in the world pretty much has a league, and in this game tried to represent most of those. I thought that was just a cool dynamic. I wanted to just learn a lot about the leagues and stuff. It's kind of neat.
Last chance for the Reds here.
We went Derby and not knowing they set records for terribleness. Just that's funny. What division was Derby in? Was it like was it lower, like was it very lower leagues, or was it like championship league, or I don't know. I'm not familiar with that team.
Now with like the current games, like Football Manager or whatever, you can only play like the current seasons. It's not like out of the park where you could go back.
Yeah, there's no historic. As far as I know, there's no historic. Maybe
Yeah.
there might be some user-created mods for that, databases.
Yeah.
But man, those databases
That's
are
another thing with out of the
huge.
park. I mean, not to like gloss over any of the things that maybe it does or doesn't do well, but it is trying to do a lot. Between the historical,
Yes, there's a
current,
lot.
the
It's very
fictional,
complex. It's
the
almost complex
management
to a
side.
fault. Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
It really is. I mean, now they're just adding these development engines, and there's a
Yeah.
double play, and that could end the game. It does, and the
Wow, Chicago with the upset.
White Sox have now tied the series at 1. And we have the Reds lose 4-2 now. They were pretty much stymied by Johnny Humphreys, and then we had Maltzberger with a save, 2-inning save.
Maltzberger, yeah, he was.
Yeah,
I
well,
think
it looks like
5 or
there's
6 saves for them in the first in their bracket play.
Yep, the White Sox pretty much spread out most of their hits. Only a couple of guys had more than one. Yeah, so that's it. Wally Moses, 2 stolen bases.
Holy Moses.
All right, so that does it for this game. Let me just, we don't have to, there's no elimination. Only one other elimination tonight. What did we play? 3 games, that's it. So, 4. Played 4 games with the Kansas City
So
game.
we got
but
next
next
broadcast, we have the 38 Yankees and Rangers. Let's see if the Rangers
they can come
pick
back.
themselves up after that mauling they took.
Definitely. Let me just see something here. Yeah, so I mean, that's been a lot of fun tonight. Obviously, this first round is going to drag on for many broadcasts. I feel like many more, at least I would say at least 3, 4, 5 more, maybe depending on how what the guests are. And this is fun. I'm having a lot of fun with the guests and having talk. I don't mind if we slow it down. I'm not in any hurry to get.
Oh
this
yeah,
thing done.
no. I mean,
It's
it
about
took
the
a year
experience.
to get to this point. So, not that this is going to take a year, but at the same time, we don't need to be done in a week either.
Yep. And John, if you want, if you're feeling up to it sometime, like we have many broadcasts to go. If you're up to the, if you want, if I can reciprocate, if you want to come on, I can invite you to the show. We can talk baseball while we're playing the games or whatever, whatever else you want to do. If you want to talk about something else, this is an open format. Yeah. So, I mean, just let me know. I can ping you after if you want, but, that's it. Let me see if, whoops. No, that's not what I want. I'm trying to find the outro. I'm not very, I'm very kind of amateurish at this. If you haven't figured it out by now, I know I say that a lot. Here it is. All right. So, Jamie, I guess we could wrap this up.
I just want to thank again Marshall for coming on, and hopefully people might consider checking out his book. I read it. That's how I actually got in touch with him. But it really is a really good book. Like I said, it's like reading a documentary. It really puts you into that postseason of 1985.
Yep. Yeah, definitely, Marshall. I really appreciate it, and yeah, it was definitely. I'm definitely buying that book tomorrow on Amazon, and I'll definitely we'll hit you up again once I finish it, so we can talk. Let me just go back on here. So just wanted to say good night to everybody.
John said that he would be up for it, so I'm sure we can make that happen.
Is John? John's got his. If you ever want to see a guy on Twitch trying his best, I'm at a Comey of Errors. Please, I'll be back on Friday. Thanks for doing this and give me a nice little break. Thank you, John. We're gonna wrap this up and we'll leave you with an outro. This week in baseball. So thanks a lot, everyone. Thank you, Jamie. I appreciate it as always, and we'll probably be on tomorrow night again.
Yep.
All right. See you later.